Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and we are live for Manchester United's trip to Spain where they're going to play Villarreal in the Champions League with Michael Carrick as their coach. So we're going to get big changes as well, which I suppose is quite interesting. Big changes in the team. Apparently Bruno's going to get benched, or maybe not even benched, maybe even worse. We'll see about that. But Bruno apparently has been dropped. Let's have a look at what the team is. So Bruno and Rashford dropped. De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Telles, McTominay, Fred, Sancho, Donny, Martial, and Ronaldo. I mean, he picks McFred, and drops Bruno. What a prat! What a prat! Carrick out. What a prat. I mean, just what a prat, really. What a prat. I mean, I don't mind I don't really care. I mean, the thing that I disagree with that team is like he drops Bruno and Rashford but picks Maguire. He drops Bruno and Rashford but picks McTominay. I mean, and that's the problem for me, isn't it? It's always with United, it's always one step forward and two step back. And look, I think, to be honest, I'm not like, I think if this was Ollie, I'd be absolutely losing my shit. We're trying to get a different manager, and Carrick's never going to be the manager. So when I say Carrick out, it's obviously done with a big tongue in the cheek. But yeah, I mean that's just to me that's just silly. You start Maguire, you drop Rashford. You start McTominay, you drop Bruno. Like you sort of like you do the right thing, but then you do the wrong thing. Because I ain't got a problem with Bruno being dropped. I ain't got a problem with Rashford being dropped. I don't think they played particularly well recently, but to pick Maguire and McTominay and then drop Bruno is silly. And also, it's the fact that Donny's playing as a 10. I don't think he's a 10. I think Donny plays better as an 8. So it's interesting. But who's playing off the left then? Is he going with Martial? Is it Martial? Yeah, Martial plays off the left. I don't mind that front four of Sancho, Donny, Martial, and Ronaldo. I don't mind it at all. I'd rather see Bruno playing where Donny is and Donny playing where McTominay is. I'd like to have seen Donny and Fred, to be honest with you. But Carrick, I think it's safe to say that he's obsessed with McTominay, and that's where it came from with Carrick then, isn't it? Because that's simply, just the way it is. But I think that, let me just go through that team again because it's not on the screen at the moment. So De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Telles, McTominay and Fred. Donny plays instead of Bruno. Martial plays instead of Rashford. Sancho on the right, and then Ronaldo up front. I mean, it is a better... It's arguably a better team. I mean, I would have played Eric Bailly as well because I think Maguire can't play at the weekend, can he? So, yeah, I would have gone with that. Let me just put this. So yeah, Donny van der Beek will be playing as a number 10, where Bruno plays. And I'm just let me just put this tweet out, and then I'll tell you the bench. I presume that's where Rashford and Bruno actually are, but you never know. I think Ahmad's on the bench. Obviously, no Greenwood because of COVID. No Luke Shaw because of I think concussion. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, okay. So we've got Heaton and Henderson, 2 goalkeepers on the bench. Bailly, Dalot, Bruno, Lingard, Mata, Matic, Ahmad, and Rashford. Cavani, obviously, still injured as well. So yeah, we've got the team on the screen for you. That is the right team. Ronaldo up front with Martial and Sancho either side of him. Donny as a 10. McFred in the midfield. Telles, Maguire, Lindelof, and Wan-Bissaka, with De Gea in goal. I do want to talk about the connotations about this group, because remember, we are playing away from home. We're all going to get obsessed with the team that we've picked, but we are playing away from home. And we've got, of course, Villarreal, who I don't know what their team is because I can't remember what they are on Twitter. Feck off. Feck is Irish. You can say that. Villa. I can't find them on Twitter. That's quite annoying. Does anyone know what Villarreal's Twitter is? Villarreal CF. Okay, they've got absolutely nothing going on there. Let's have a look what we've got here. No, I can't find it. Somebody in the chat will probably have. I think Danjuma's starting. Let's have a look. So they've got Rulli in goal, Albiol the captain, Pau Torres, Pereiro, Capoue, who wasn't meant to be playing, Foyth, Esteban, Trigueros, Danjuma, Pino, Gomez, Chukwazi's on the bench for them, and El Cesar's on the bench for them. Interestingly enough, the guy who played very well against us, what was his name? The midfielder, holding midfielder. He must be injured as well. I forget his name. It's not Capoue. He was the holding midfielder. He played absolutely brilliant against us. Coquelin. Was it Coquelin? He's not playing. He played very, very well against us. Let's have a look at what people are saying. From Ollie at the wheel to Carrick, threw you under the wheel, dropped Bruno, which is an important game, says Iron. Story came out this morning about Man United used to be our only club with no win bonus in player contracts, as was expected. Obviously not now. Do you think it shows the drop in standards or just the modern game, says Nick97? And hopefully this lineup works out. I'm thinking Carrick wants Sancho whipping crosses to Donny Ronaldo and Martial, says Luke Marshall. And Bruno is dropped, says Michael. Ricky is at the wheel, and it was Capoue who played well against us, not Coquelin. Okay. And if you stop your Carrick impression, I will be mad, says Nigel. Yeah, but Carrick is to do with Ollie. It's not to do with Carrick. Carrick's like Geordie, isn't he? So Carrick's like Geordie Shaw and YA man and all that. But it's an interesting one. I mean, you know, let's just talk about that team for a moment. I want to get what people's thoughts are. I don't like that team. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I mean, I like the fact that Donny's starting, but what I would always say is we're not a one-man team. And, you know, this is what United do. They'll, you know, what if it started Lingard or Bruno? You would be like, oh, fucking hell, that's a rubbish team. The only reason people are going, oh, that's not a bad team is because Donny van der Beek's starting the game. That's the trick, you know, and that's what Manchester United do. They'll throw you a positivity bone and then slip in the shit. And I think that's what they've done there. Donny van der Beek is the thing that people will focus on, but actually, my eyes don't deceive me. I look at that team and I still see shit Harry Maguire, shit McFred, and yeah, Donny's starting, but he's starting in the wrong place. Donny should be starting next to Fred with Bruno. You know, there's no point starting Donny if you don't put him with Bruno, in my opinion. It's like starting Pogba without Bruno. It's like, you know, what you know, so Donny can only play without Bruno now. It's like Carrick saying, I will start him, but this is why we didn't start him. It's bullshit. He was man of the match at the weekend, playing next to Bruno in the role that Scott McTominay's going to play. So I would have played Bruno with Donny, but I don't have a massive problem with Bruno being dropped, by the way. I have him, or Rashford being dropped. My problem is, why does Bruno get dropped, but Harry Maguire doesn't get dropped? And I think, you know, if we want Bruno Fernandes to sign a new contract, and let's not forget, there are people in the fan base that don't like Bruno, but I'll tell you now for free, this is a freebie from me. Bruno Fernandes is the reason we finished in the top 4 the last 2 years under Ollie, because his stats show that. So, you know, he's a massive, massive player for us. He's been underperforming recently. I agree with that. But if you're going to drop him, you should be dropping Harry Maguire. Get whack him low, not trophyless, Poch or Zidane, says Andreas. Ricky is always banging on about dropping Bruno, playing Martial and having 2 CDMs and Donny. Is he Carrick in disguise? Let's see how it works, says Aram. And Mark, did Carrick ask Ricky to pick the team? I wondered why Brad and everyone was on about Ricky. Actually, Ricky probably will be quite happy with that team, actually. You can do hashtag Ask Goldbridge on Twitter, as always. We've got it coming up on the screen. Thoughts on Maguire still being captain? I fully expected Maguire to be captain. I fully expected Maguire to start. I wouldn't have done that. I think that I think he was appalling at the weekend, and he's been appalling for weeks. But it's favourites FC, isn't it? You know, you need to stay that. I mean, Fabrizio Romano has just put an interesting tweet out about the managerial situation, and he says that Manchester United board has had direct contact with former Barcelona manager Valverde today, as per Jamie Jackson. No decision made yet. He's one of the 5 candidates in the list in case Pochettino won't be allowed to relieve PSG. I would imagine that would be as an interim. I can't even remember what he was like at Barcelona. I can't even remember what he was like. Barcelona have changed their managers so often. I can't even remember that. But I don't know what people's thoughts are on that, but I was speaking to somebody about the managerial situation today because we were talking about Pochettino, and I'd be interested to see what you think about this. Basically, we're talking about Pochettino, and they said to me, after the Liverpool game, Pochettino wasn't even being mentioned as a Manchester United manager, and now suddenly he's the favourite. And I said, well, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, at the weekend, everyone thought we were getting Zidane on Sunday. Now it's all Pochettino. Who's to say by Thursday, Pochettino will have said, no, I don't want the job. And then it's somebody else who's the obsession. So it can change very quickly. To me, this proves once and for all that Donny is and was always seen as Bruno's backup by the management team. Not saying I agree, just saying, says Manchild. I think what Carrick's done there is, I think he's picked a team to please Ollie. And I know Ollie's been sacked, but I think it's a respect. I think if he started Donny and Fred behind Bruno, everyone would have gone, this is the team we should have picked, and it's disrespect, So I think he's started him, but he's done it in a way that's like, I'm still loyal to Ollie in the fact that we believe he's not a midfielder. So you might be on something there. Our problem under Ollie was instead of fixing our problems, such as a poor Maguire, we tried to hide them using other players such as McFred, says Akil. Maguire can't play this weekend, so there's no option to drop him with Varane also as doubts, as scared. We could have played Bay. And McFred again, all these current coaches are muppets. How can you drop Bruno, play Donny as an 8 and take Fred out, says Sean Turner. I'd take Maguire. I'd take McTominay out. And Cod Golf says, I'm relatively relaxed. Let's see if this helps dominate possession. We wanted players rested under Solskjaer. He's dropped Fernandes to ensure he's fresh for Chelsea, I'm guessing. And I don't know about that, though, because let me just tell you this. This is not a game to rest people. If we lose this, we're in big trouble. Really big trouble. And I'll explain why in a minute. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. What's the latest on Poch, please? Watch these training sessions and interviews. I think he's what we need. English could be, says Said. Well, look, the minute we get a proper manager in, we won't see stupid team selections like this. You won't see Bruno bloody benched by Pochettino. He wanted him at Spurs. So I don't think that'll happen. Hashtag Ask Goldbridge, Mark. How do you think this Carrick era will last? How long? Hopefully just tonight and tonight only. I don't want it to last any longer, to be honest with you. He is... a one-night stand, hopefully, and not a very good one. Or it might be a very good one. I don't know. We've not done it yet. But the reality is, I don't want him to stay long. Him, McKenna, and Phelan will make me want to throw up through my eyes every time I see them tonight, because I don't think it's fair that Solskjaer got sacked and they didn't. But I understand why, because if you'd sacked all of them, no one would have been able to train the team yesterday. So, I understand why they're here, but they shouldn't be here very long. They're massively part of the problem. And Romano has just clarified what I said. He says, to be clear, Valverde would only be considered as an interim option in case Manchester United won't be able to appoint permanent manager like Pochettino or Rodgers. There you go. Rodgers. Keep your eyes on Rodgers. I still don't think it's an impossibility. We're definitely making moves, though, aren't we? I mean, look, in essence, it's not worth getting upset about this team. You just say what you think about it, and then you see what happens. Like somebody just said before, Michael Carrick should not be at Manchester United. Neither should McKenna, and neither should Phelan. Even if he won 20-0, he still needs to go. Like if I would actually be stunned, and we have got some fans in our fan base that are a little bit questionable. I would be stunned if any United fan started going, give Carrick the job based on a few wins. Like, we've been down that road before. We're looking at the next 2 years. We're not looking at the next 2 months. We could win every game playing good football. I'd still say pack your bags, Carrick, because we've done that. We've done the interim. We've done the ex-player. We know what will happen with it, and we don't want it. What do you think about Villas-Boas for the United job, says FQ? No thanks. Both Bruno and Rashford can make instant impact as subs in case they are required. So, and we can make 5 changes. So let's see how this team plays out, says Pranay. And if this works well, Ricky is going to come on saying, I told you so, says Justin. And time for Donny to shine. Big performance needed from one. We are due it, says Connor. You know what? I don't have a problem with Bruno being dropped. I don't. And I think somebody made a good point there. And I said this about Maguire before the Watford game. I would have dropped Maguire for the Watford game. And that would have been a very good idea, Ollie, wouldn't it? I would have dropped Maguire for the Watford game. And you might have won. And you might be still in a job. And that's why he's not in a job, because he had favourites. I would have dropped Maguire for Watford and I would have played him tonight. And when I dropped him for Watford, I would have said, this is based on your performance against Man City and Liverpool and Leicester. You've not been up to scratch, Harry. So I'm dropping you, because no one's above dropping. He would have been pissed off. Then I would have picked him tonight. And hopefully he would have been so pissed off he'd have played well. And then the experiment works. So dropping Bruno doesn't bother me because I think, you know what? He's been nowhere near the player he is. For Portugal or United, he's not been the player he is. So I've got no problem with dropping Bruno at all. I've got no problem with dropping Rashford at all. But if you're going to drop Bruno and Rashford, how the fuck have you not dropped McTominay and Maguire? And that's my issue. It's like, I haven't got a problem with who he's dropped. I'm stunned. He's picked Maguire and McTominay because they're shitter than anybody. And yet they start. And that's my problem with what he's done tonight is that, look, Bruno, Rashford, can't really argue with it. But he picks McTominay and Maguire. McTominay got subbed off at half-time last night on Saturday out of sympathy. He was absolutely shit, and he starts tonight. Maguire got sent off. The ref put him out his misery, and he starts tonight, and that's my problem. Like the team, Martial and Tellez would have liked Eric, says Jay. I have a problem with Bruno being dropped because McFred have been awful for the whole season and last season and still get picked every week, says Sean Turner. Does Poch coming in mean Kane is more likely in the summer, says Pip. I couldn't give a shit about Harry Kane. United probably will try and sign Harry Kane, but why would you sign Harry Kane when you've got Cristiano Ronaldo? I tell you, Mark, believe in Carrick. Carrick's at the wheel. If we lose, I tell you, it's Wan-Bissaka or maybe Fred's fault. That's from Ricky, says DK. Anyway, before we talk about why this game is absolutely imperative that we win, you'll see below me, we are sponsored by Manscaped, one of my favorite integrations that we do on this show. Now, Black Friday and Cyber Monday are just around the corner. And from today until the 29th of November, Manscaped are giving 25% off across their entire website. And unless you've been living under a rock and you've not been watching this channel before, you should know what Manscaped is. It's the leading men's hygiene brand. Manscaped just launched new products, including their all-new ultra-premium body wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. It's time to give yourself, or someone who needs it, the gift of beautiful skin, hair, balls this season. That's right, because it's not just about personal grooming. It's about trimming the grass to make the yard look bigger. So as well as all those new products they've got, let's remind ourselves why the Lawnmower 4.0 is so good. It's got a new multifunction on and off switch, travel lock, created for people who like to travel. It's got an LED light so you can see what you're doing. And the new trimmer also allows you to customize the lengths that you want to go to. I always go very short. And it's sleek with a two-toned matte and gloss finish, even featuring a hot foil-stamped Manscaped logo. And of course, its wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery life. Alongside the new Lawnmower 4.0, you can also launch their brand new performance package, which has got the Weed Whacker, which I'm holding here, the Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, very comfy boxer shorts, and a travel bag. The Weed Whacker is my favourite. You can use it on your ears, but I'm not that old. But I am old enough to have nasal hair, and it's a fantastic product. And because Manscaped care about everyone who watches the United Stand, as I say, they're giving you a massive 25% off, plus free shipping when you click the link in the channel description. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Manscaped and get your products. Trim the grass to make the yard you look bigger with that, and do your nasal hair with that. And plus, they've got all the toiletries and stuff. So crack on with it. Fantastic products. Hopefully Manchester United will be using a bit of Manscaped tonight because we need to see some balls. You know, we need to see a response. That's what we need to see. But check out Manscaped, links in the video description. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. United's recruitment has been terrible over the last few years. A team of individuals. Poch will sort that out and get the best of the young players, says Bradley. Valverde had a 65% win percentage at his time at Barca and used to play 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 with heavy use of wingers, says Vish. Why is he not there anymore then? And Victor, thank you very much. Thanks for all the super chats that are coming in. If you want to do that through the $, that's appreciated. And please do subscribe to the channel because we're nearly at 220,000 subscribers. So please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and get involved in the channel. Mark, Ollie gave his $7.5 million payout to charity, says Sean. Nate, and there's a hashtag as well. I am not, you've just done a super chat to say something that's not even been confirmed by anybody credible. So look, two things. Why are we still talking about Ollie? He's been sacked. And two, I don't for 1 minute think he's given £7.5 million to charity. And if he has, I don't get why you would do that because you're never going to get a job that pays you that well again. So, by all means, give £1 million to charity, but £7.5 million to charity. And even if, I would say, Ollie, don't do it. Like, you've been fired. You're not going to get your job back. So he doesn't need to do it. And I hope he hasn't done that. If he wants to give a certain percentage to charity, but he shouldn't go giving that amount of money to charity because he ain't going to get a job that pays that well again. McTominay and Fred definitely double teaming the coaching staff one at a time, says Millet. I don't think that is happening. Car passed the MOT earlier must mean a win tonight, says Lewis Cullen. And hashtag Ask Goldbridge, which you can do on Twitter. What's this one from? At Kyle Alexander says, Mark, do you think Carrick has gone with a front four like that, like to pass and move to retain possession in a final third over kick and run merchants or shoot on site players like Rashford and Greenwood? Yeah, it is more progressive. It is more progressive, but let's not forget, Villarreal probably will have more of the ball. So he's got to try and get hold of the ball, hasn't he? That's what he's got to try and do. I really want to know what Mike Phelan does. Why the hell is he still at the club and getting a 3-year extension? He doesn't take training, says Nate. I don't know what he does. I mean, it's the sort of guy who looks to me like he just turns up and, you know, hangs around the canteen having a chat. Actually like that front four. Lots of interchanging and creativity, says Kevin. And Mark, Poch still living in a hotel in Paris. There's worse cities to live in, nature videos. Mark, you got to admit the front four is saucy. No, I don't admit it, Connor T. Don't have to admit anything, and I don't. I'm not happy with that team. I don't mind the front four. I'm not happy with the team. I don't like McTominay and Fred playing. I think it's a disgrace, and I don't think Maguire starting is fair. I feel sorry for Rashford and Bruno, because I think Rashford and Bruno being dropped and Maguire and McTominay starting is just not fair in my book. Obi-Wan, Solskjaer and Michael Skywalker. Can you imagine Carrick appointing Solskjaer as assistant manager, McTominay, Maguire undroppable? Yeah, well, look, everyone retweet my tweet. I'm gonna put this out. So I'm going to say no issue with Bruno and Rashford being dropped, but starting Maguire and McTominay, who have been dreadful, is hypocritical. Retweet it, everybody, at Mark Goldbridge. Let the haters hate. So, yeah, look, what I wanted to talk to you about before we go on to anything else, and let me just read these super chats. Bruno dropping shows why all that spin about great coaching behind the scenes was nonsense. Good coaches would find a way to play Donny and Bruno, says Andrew. And what do Maguire and McSauce have to do to get dropped? Smash Carrick's iPad, says Joshua. And finally, our best attacking player in Martial starts. Shame how Ollie treated him, says Hugo. Well, I did predict in the summer that Martial would have a big season. It didn't look like he was going to, but maybe he can start getting involved now. Have you heard of the soccer blockchain game? No, I haven't. Nature videos. And in this game, we have to defend properly, but we pick same two midfielders who does not pick up the runner, says Sabatashi. And another hashtag is going to come on the screen there. But I just want to talk to you very quickly. Hi, Mark. Seeing Martial finally getting a start is a breath of fresh air, to be honest. Do you think when Poch comes, he'll play players like Martial and Donny more? I would like to see a midfield that has one holding midfielder in it. Now, whether that's going to be Fred or McTominay or Matic in the short term until we buy one, I don't know. But I want to see Pogba and Bruno, or Pogba and Donny, or Donny and Bruno playing together as the two with a holding midfielder. That's what I want to see. I want to see the end of McFred. And, like, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? Well, you know, this is the thing, though. We haven't got a new manager. People are like, oh, I can't believe he's picking McFred. We finally sacked Solskjaer and the manager picks McFred. But Carrick is Solskjaer. This is the thing. It's not a surprise. Mark, Donny can't play in a pivot and Matic can't play every game. McFred was a logical decision. Maguire is suspended and may as well play him. Rash, Donny has played in a pivot in every fucking game he's played for the last 6 months. So what are you talking about? He played in a pivot against Wolves and played very well. He played in a pivot against Watford in the Cup and played very well. He came on the weekend and played in a pivot and played very well. Doesn't make sense to start Maguire today with him being suspended in the league. Probably would have been dropped otherwise, says Jeremy Bourne. And have you heard? Okay. So look, what I wanted to bring on was that some people are saying it's a good time to rest Bruno because we've got a big game against Chelsea at the weekend. It's a bad time to rest anybody. If you're dropping people, you're dropping people. If you're playing people, you're playing people. This is not about rotation. This might be Carrick's only game. So he's dropped Bruno and he's dropped Rashford. That's what he's done. But he's decided to pick Maguire and McTominay, favourites FC. But let me tell you why it's not a game for rotation. It's not take it easy. We're playing a team that really needs to beat us. They're playing Atalanta in the next game. And I think their next game is away in Italy. So if they lose both games, Villarreal are in the Europa League. If they win one of them, and this is their better chance because they're at home, they give themselves a massive chance of going through into the Champions League. Now, if we lose this game today, we're probably going to end up in the Europa League. There's a good chance of it, because what will happen is Atalanta should beat Young Boys. That puts them on 8 points. And then if Atalanta beat Villarreal at home, they'll go on 11 points above Villarreal, who would have 10 points if they beat us today. We would then hopefully get 10 points by beating Young Boys. But if Villarreal beat us in the head-to-head, they'll probably be in a better situation unless we score a couple of away goals. I mean, the connotations are weird, but basically, if Atalanta were to beat Young Boys and Villarreal, they'd go through probably with 11 points. Now, if United lose tonight and beat Young Boys and Villarreal lose to Atalanta, then both teams have got 10 points. And therefore, it's decided on a head-to-head basis. Now, the head-to-head is who beat each other better. So basically, we beat Villarreal 2-1. If they beat us 1-0, they would go through, because even though they beat us 2-1, on aggregate it's 2-2, but they got an away goal. So if it's 2-1, we're both the same. And then they'll look at overall goal difference in the group, of which Villarreal is currently better, although we could get better if we thrashed Young Boys and they lost to Atalanta. So what we need to do is, if we're going to lose, we need to lose by scoring ourselves. Because if we lose 1-0, we put ourselves in a really difficult position. And as we know with Villarreal, they are a team that don't score many but don't concede many. So we've got to be very, very careful. Obviously, a draw is a good result for us, and a win's a great result. Grateful for the week group. Can do a Chelsea 2012, says James. And wow, just tuned in to see that Donny's in. Good to see him in cam tonight, says Grant. I don't agree with dropping Bruno, but it could be clever because Bruno will have an impact off the bench, and who would have set up to neutralise Bruno, says AJ Singh. Thoughts on Valverde and what this could mean for some of the players, says Jay. I mean, that to me is totally left field. Let me just read this hashtag Goldbridge, which you can do on Twitter. Does Poch record versus current Premier League managers not worry you? Poch versus Klopp, 11 games played, 1 win. Pep, 21, 4 wins. Rodgers, 6 games, 2 wins. Moyes, 5 games, 1 win. And if true, he wants the job, why is he running away from his career first trophy? Says at Beautiful Fool 6. I mean, I like Donny. Sorry, I like Poch, but I mean, you know, there is going to be things that are good and bad. But the Valverde thing is interesting because I don't know anything about him really. Grateful for the week group. Can do a Chelsea 2002, says James. And dropping Bruno is long overdue, but so are Maguire. And why is 11 here at 4 o'clock? Fucking hell, Ryan. Dropping Bruno is long overdue, but so are Maguire and McFred. I'd have preferred a 4-3-3, says Humphrey. Hi, Mark. Do you think there is pressure to play at least one academy graduate in starting 11 like Rashford or McTominay, no matter what? Says Pranay. And wow, just turned into Donny starting. Okay. And hi, Mark. I don't understand the Bruno drop at all. We both know that if we're losing or not, Bruno will be sub on at half for Donny and McFred stay, says Akil. I mean, look, if you know, that's all right. I just could hear someone talking. I'm nervous for tonight. I can't do another year in Europa, says Charlie. And I think with look, a lot of people are going to be very excited that Donny van der Beek is starting the game. And I don't look. I think somebody just hit the nail on the head there. What Carrick has done has sent the message that Donny plays if Bruno doesn't play. So what United are doing is it's Donny or Bruno, and what it should be is Donny and Bruno. This McFred axis of evil in the midfield is destroying what we're trying to do as a football club, which is, you know, progress. So Donny starting tonight is a positive, but he's starting because he was man of the match at the weekend in McTominay's position. And what's Carrick done? He started him in Bruno's position and dropped Bruno. So the problem is, if Bruno gets back in the team, then Donny gets dropped. Or if Donny keeps playing well, Bruno's dropped. That's the problem with the team tonight, is that Donny should be playing where McTominay is playing, because McTominay's been shit. And yes, McTominay might play well tonight, but bloody hell, it's about time if he does. Like, he's had so many chances. So I'm pleased Donny's starting. I'm not bothered about Bruno being dropped, but it does show that under this regime, it will be Donny or Bruno. And when Pogba's back, he'll probably be on the bench for McTominay and Fred as well. But, you know, we shouldn't be surprised by it because Carrick was Ollie's right-hand man and he believes in a lot of what Ollie did. Doubt we will see any balls until we get a new coaching setup and manager in, sadly. Pray for the win tonight, though. If we are out of the Champions League, the entire season is gone, says Foot. Valverde managed Barca from 2017 to 2020 before Koeman, says Tony Bain. I'm glad to see Carrick identified our problem all along. Drop Bruno and keep McFred. Brilliant, says Jordan. I know. I'll just say it again. To me, no problem with dropping Bruno and Rashford. But if you're going to do that, it's so hypocritical to start Maguire and McTominay, who, if I ran a poll on who are the top 2 players that should be dropped for Villarreal tonight, I guarantee you it would have been Maguire, McTominay, and probably Luke Shaw, who couldn't play anyway. So, you know, it just shows you how out of touch this coaching setup is with modern day football, really. Chop, thank you very much for the super chat. We need McFred to protect Maguire. How about start Bay instead, says Pisco. And big name or not, play poor, you get dropped. So Scott should not be playing also. Not a big name either, Hugh. And if Poch comes in, Zidane goes to PSG, says Hugh. Oh, just very quickly on Pochettino, because I don't think I've said this publicly, although I think I might have tweeted it. My only concern about Pochettino is, and look, I don't care if we get Pochettino, Rodgers, Ten Hag. I mean, I have, like I said last night, I do have my preferences, but I don't really care which one we get. But what I do want is I want Manchester United to be desperate for a manager. I don't want Manchester United to be, I don't want Manchester United having a manager that is desperate to come to us. So my only concern, and I'll explain why, my only concern about Pochettino is that it seems to me that Pochettino is desperate to come to Manchester United. And he's at PSG. So what worries me about that is United are like, oh, well, we've got to pay £10 million to get you. You're not having much of a transfer budget, and you've got to work with Carrick and McKenna. And this happened with Mourinho. Mourinho came in and was desperate, and he did get a bit of money, but then ultimately, I don't think he got the power he would have got at the start if we'd have been desperate for him. So my only worry with Pochettino is don't be too desperate to come to United, because that's when Woodward and everyone gets excited and starts putting the hooks on you, because it's like they can conduct you when they loved Ollie because he was a puppet. Ollie was eternally grateful for getting that job, so he was never going to have any difficult conversations. We need United, what they are, which is on their knees and desperate. And it's like, please come to our club and managers will give you what you like, which is what they're sort of trying to do with Zidane, but it didn't work. Big name or not, play poor, you get dropped. We've done that one. And I believe United's best team is De Gea, Telles, Shaw, Varane, Dalot, Pogba, Van der Beek, Bruno, Rashford, Sancho, Ronaldo. How does that team not get top 4? Well, it's got no midfield balance, Fitzy, to be honest. Do you have a promo code for the European Manscaped site? Says David. Let's just click the link in the video description, I think, and it automatically does it. Why aren't we trying a 4-3-3-2 with Matic, CDM, Donny and Bruno, says Joel. And Mark, you're setting yourself for disappointment regarding Bruno. You were too deeply invested in him before his signing and are overrating him, says Andre. Mate, you know what? Go and have a pint of bloody water and sober up. You know, what are you on about? I've overrated Bruno. I could get you a big book of stats on the impact that Bruno Fernandes has had on this team. I could tell you how our win rate, his assists, his goals, where we were without Bruno, where we are now. He's not playing well at the moment, but there is a select group of idiots in our fan base that don't rate Bruno. And I could spend a whole hour dictating to you, and it would be dictating because it's not opinion, it's fact, why United have been better over the last 2 years with Bruno Fernandes in the team. Unfortunately, like most of our team, he's been run into the ground and he's playing crap at the moment. But I've got no problem with him being dropped. But what you're saying, Andre, is I'm overrating Bruno. I'm not overrating Bruno. I'm saying, why has Bruno been dropped, but Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay are starting? That's my problem. I don't have a problem with Bruno being dropped. I know he's not playing well at the moment, but it's the hypocrisy of dropping him, but not dropping the 2 worst players in our team at the weekend. I've got a hashtag here, hashtag Goldbridge. Do you think Rashford and Greenwood up top in a 4-4-2 would do good when Ronaldo is injured or is dropped? Says, no, I don't. I think you'd play Cavani, wouldn't you? Mark, don't we need a manager who's bigger than the club? My worry is that the board will control Poch. Yeah, I agree with you, Abhishek. That's my only thing. If he's desperate for the job, the club have got their clause in. What if this is 4-3-3 with Donny and McTominay as box-to-box midfielders? You do realise, cool work, we're playing away from home against the team that dominates possession, and we would be happy with a point. We're not going to Villareal to play expansive football. I mean, well, I'd be very surprised if we are. Bruno's gone poor in the midst of our performances. Might do him some good to sit one out. Shame we can fill that gap without being forced to play McFred, says Jacob. Strange feeling Glazers will wait till January so new manager can't ask for transfers, says David. And maybe Zidane is waiting until Pep leaves City, end of the season, ultimate slap in the face if that's the case, says Jamie Drummer. Well, look, I also think with Brendan Rodgers, you know, he has been touted for the Man City job, so that might be a delay as to why he's now out of the frame. It wasn't Bruno. It wasn't Bruno why we did better during lockdown. It's because Ollie created a culture of losers who perform better without fans in the stadium. What are you talking about? Okay, Andre, I wouldn't waste your money anymore because it won't get read out. Because I don't mind reading people's opinions, but we occasionally do get people who think if they do a super chat, they can dominate the world with their own stupidity. That just doesn't make any sense. So I'm doing you a favour there. Fred is excellent player under the coach. His Brazil matches prove that, says Josh. Yeah, but we're not playing in Brazil, are we? And we don't play in yellow. Hugh says, I've liked Pau Torres for a while. Enjoy watching him play. Shame we didn't sign him and partner him with Varane, says Hugh. And, well, we're never going to buy 2 centre-backs. And I think Zidane might want to manage us, but only under the right conditions. The board don't want to give up too much control, says Benson. You might be onto something there. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. I don't know what Paul Scholes has said, but if someone wants to tell me in the chat, I'll certainly read it out, because all I can see is Paul Scholes is a goat. He was a very good footballer, but I suspect that that's not what we're talking about. I suspect that's something to do with something else. But Bruno isn't playing because he's in talks with Southend. So Paul Scholes has said about Carrick, McKenna and Phelan, they shouldn't be at the club now. Okay. I'm going to do that there. Yeah. And is Donny van der Beek a 10 or in a 3 with McFred, says Humphrey? I actually think Donny will be playing quite defensive today. Yeah. Scholes is calling out why Carrick and Co are still at the club. You should watch it. Refreshing to see someone finally call it out, says John. Bruno on a well-deserved break. Future of our club, says Connor. And do you think if City are wanting Rodgers, that's enough for us to be going for him? Don't agree with this, but the board should pay close attention to City's board and decisions, says Nick97. I've been gone for a while, so sorry if you haven't answered this already. Would you prefer Poch now or Rangnick temporary with Ten Hag in the summer, says Bryce Jones. Mate, I'm in quite a fortunate position. I don't care about that. As long as it ain't Carrick, McKenna and Phelan, there's a lot of things I'd prefer. But I said this last night. I'm not like some of you. Some of you are obsessed with Ten Hag. Some of you are obsessed with Poch. I don't care if it's Rodgers or Pochettino now, or it's Rangnick and Ten Hag in the summer. I don't really care. Just get these prats out of our club. And, you know, it needs a reset. I can see Carrick on my TV here. I don't know about you. When Solskjaer was sacked on Sunday, I was like, well, that's the right decision. I'm now looking at bloody Michael Carrick and I'm like, this doesn't feel like this isn't a change. This is the same old crap. And it needs a change. Let's have some positivity. Team response tonight. 2-1 United to score. Finally, come on, the Reds, says Joe. And Mark, do you think Maguire will be dropped by a manager like Poch, says Jacob? I mean, you know what? People talk about players being dropped. The only reason we're having the chat about players being dropped tonight is because the management hasn't changed. These are the same coaches and people who picked the team with Ollie. We need Jason Parks as HJ. These are the same people that picked the team with Ollie. Now, if a new manager comes in and picks Maguire, I don't necessarily have a massive problem with that because it's when there's a change, it's a clean slate for every player, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. But at the moment, I judge these players on the weekends because it's the same coaches. So, as I say, you know, dropping Bruno and Rashford, I mean, I'd be fuming if I was Bruno Fernandes. Absolutely fuming. Because I get dropped and the guy who got sent off and threw the captain's armband at me starts. What does that say? What does that say? petulant Harry Maguire throws a fucking armband at me and gets sent off. We could have got back in that game. I get dropped and he runs out with the captain's armband again. I'd be pissed off if I was Bruno, but maybe he's not. Do you think this team's match fitness is lacking to play a higher intensity due to the current style of play? Says Dish. Bold move by the caretaker. I think injury played a big part in lineup, but it needed a change. So hats off for not playing regulars, says Gaz. So you agree with him picking McTominay and Maguire then? Okay. Fair play. Ask Goldbridge. Hey, Mark, as much as rotation is crucial to any team, why is there no consistency in the team? Also, when there is consistency, it's just the back four and the two holding midfielders. Love the content and keep it up. That's an interesting one from Callum. Love the channel. Green and yellow scarves. BF deals, says Michael Hodgkins. And Donny is playing Manchester United in talks with Valverde. Yeah, we've spoken about that already. How do I think the game's going to go? Well, how do you think the game's going to go? I mean, you know, I can obviously give my opinion. We've got Levin coming on in a minute, who we've not spoken to even since Ollie being sacked. But I don't know this game. You know, United could. You never know. Like I would imagine in the changing rooms before the game, Harry Maguire's going to be going, "Come on, lads, let's do it for Ollie," which is a bit weird when a manager's been sacked. But you might get that sort of a let's do it for Ollie, and you might just see a really good performance from United. On the flip side, why didn't they do it for Ollie when he was here? So you might see a normal United performance. We might see a bad Villareal performance. We might see what we already know, that the Premier League is better than La Liga. So, you know, lots and lots of things can happen in this game, and I think it's a very hard one to read. What I would say is that the way we're going to set ourselves up is because we know, I mean, Michael Carrick doesn't need to do anything stupid here. At the end of the day, all he needs is a draw. A draw will send him through. So I don't expect Manchester United to play very expansively, and especially with those defenders that we've got playing. So, and also there's no Luke Shaw, which weakens us a little bit as well. So, and they can bring Chukwueze on. So I can see it being a tight game. I can see them having a lot of possession, and, you know, maybe we win it 2-1. Maybe it's a 1-1 draw. Mark, can you do something about all the crap you're reading out about Bruno? He's been by far United's best player, says Andy and Bruno. And Maguire was awful, but if he gets dropped, it's calamity bay. We have a good squad, and an elite manager will get more out of these players. Rohit, the reason we're in the Champions League still is because of calamitous bay. Like, he was magnificent against Zabata and Atalanta. Carrick is not only playing his favourites in Maguire and Scooby, but he is also not having a field day. Exclusive players he doesn't like, says Pregash. The Creator Club series is unrealistic. I don't like it, says Script. Okay, that's fine. Well, we'll remove you from the chat. And the myth Donny van der Break can't play together continues, says Lee Galdart. Created by incompetent coaches. Sorry, Mark, says Gaz. Not agreeing with certain players, but I do agree with dropping Bruno and playing Van der Beek. Bruno has just lost a lot of shine lately. No, Gaz, I agree with that. I don't have a problem with Bruno being dropped. I don't have a problem with Rashford being dropped. I have a problem with dropping those two and then not dropping Maguire and McTominay. That's what I have a problem with. It's hypocritical. You know, it's like, look at me. I've dropped two big players, but I'm going to pick Maguire and McTominay. Like, he should have dropped all four. Hi, Mark. Just want to say that this past few weeks, you've kept me sane. Sometimes I just have you on my headphones for the company. You look like a great mate, and I've never met. So keep it up. Thank you, Daniel. And same goes back to all of you lot. It's been a very challenging few weeks, and I think it's still going to be a challenging few weeks. You know, normally you sack a manager, as we saw with Mourinho, and you get this bounce of positivity because it's a fresh page. I feel like we're on a page full of crap, and we've just rubbed a bit out, but it's still a page of crap. Hi, Mark. I just put a bet on Sancho to score. Can you see Sancho scoring tonight? Says Barak. And Mark, I'm in utter shock at how reactionary Man United football Twitter is. I know how most is banter, but bloody hell, it's shameful, says Jude. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I mean, I do know what you're talking about, but I don't know the context of it. So let us know what you mean. And nice to see Martial, says Jack. Carrick could be playing Donny and McTominay as 2 8s and Fred as a 6. Well, I think that will happen, Chris, because I don't see how we're going to move on. But yeah, I mean, I've got the TV on, and whilst I can't hear what's being said, I don't think Paul Scholes is particularly happy with the situation, and hasn't been happy with the situation for a while. I mean, Rio Ferdinand just wants a job. he did an interview with The Athletic the other week, and he was talking about what a great, member of the board he'd be. He just wants a job at United. He'll go so far, but he won't push it too much because he wants a job. And to be honest, Ferdinand is exactly the sort of person United would employ because he's got a big social media following, and he's charismatic. So I don't really listen to a lot of what he's got to say, but Keane's. I love Roy Keane, but he's been a bit, hit and miss. I used to like Gary Neville a lot. I think he's been very poor on this whole situation. Although what I would say about Gary Neville is, and what he did get right, is that we need a reset. You don't need to be an ex-player. You don't need to be an ex-coach. Sir Alex Ferguson wasn't. We need a reset. Do you think Ronaldo's streak of scoring in every Champions League season will continue? Well, he's already done it, Chiri. And I started watching United Stand when Ollie was appointed, and it brought me a new sense of community around the club. In America, it's almost Thanksgiving, so I want to say I'm thankful to you all for making me love this club even more, says Bryce Jones. I love that when people actually become part of the community and get more into the club because of it. And Pregash says, do you think Diony van der Beek is going to be risked burning out doing jobs of number 6 and 8? Nobody criticised when he's being played out of position today, says Pregash. Well, you can criticise a bad performance. There's no problem with that. Right, let's get Levin on the show. How you doing, Levon?
I'm doing great. I'm seeing as always in it, like just social media reactions always fun. I just like to watch things, laugh at certain things,
I
raise eyebrows at certain things.
Somebody in the chat was just on about it. So what's the general consensus in the social media sort of thing?
I'm seeing a lot of people still frustrated with McFred, and I understand why people are frustrated with McFred because it's McFred, but I also don't get why people are surprised. It was never going to be anything else. Like, look, Matic wasn't great in that game against Watford. I'm not singling out Matic because a lot of people weren't great and deserved to be dropped. But, I've heard it from many people in our fan base that Matic can't play games back to back, or he can't play 2 games in a week. So considering he was bad and, it's Matic, so he's too tired. Matic was never going to play this game. Pogba's out. Donny's playing at number 10, so it's like, okay, if he wasn't playing McFred, who else would he be playing in that pivot? It's literally nobody, which is why, like, as much as I don't like it, it's like, yeah, it wasn't really going to be anything else. I do think he should have dropped Maguire, though. Like, the Maguire thing is, to me, still like, okay, like, I guess you just really like Maguire, or you have a really good relationship with him or something, but yeah, other than that, I think the lineup's really good. I tweeted it. Look, an attack with Donny, Martial, and Sancho, I think that is one of the best possible sort of combinations in terms of, best fit, right? In terms of you're thinking, what is the best fit of players in terms of how players like to play? I think those 3 can very much work well together. And of course, Mr. Champions League Ronaldo up top is always going to be interesting. I really want to see if there's differences, Mark, because I don't want to push out on a limb here, but a part of me does think we're going to see a bit of a difference in the shape.
It's weird though, isn't it? I was going to ask you that because we need to talk a little bit about Ollie at some point because you've not been on the show because you were busy doing your Twitch for the weekend. So, but I mean, it's sort of touching on that. Why would there be any difference when Carrick himself has said, me and Ollie have got similar beliefs. We worked together for 3 years. We know they were very close. He's gone with McFred tonight. Why would that be a bit snaky by Carrick to try something different? Or is it just, it's a freebie, which is what I think, and, just go and do what you want. You're never getting the job anyway.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's always going to be hard to say, Mark, because we don't know the ins and outs of their relationship as coach and stuff. Yes, he's publicly said, look, we have similar beliefs and whatnot, right? But at the same time, let's say Carrick does switch things up, right? How do we know he didn't recommend those things to Ollie to try before, and Ollie made that decision? No, that's not what I want to do to the team. Like, we just don't know. And I was listening to BT as well a bit just before, and Rio Ferdinand made the great point of, like, Carrick should look to change some stuff because ultimately he will never get this chance again in his life in terms of, like, I don't want Carrick to even get anywhere near this job, but he's probably never going to get a chance to be Manchester United manager ever again. While you're in this position, at least maybe do something good that when the time comes, other teams might go, oh, actually, remember those couple of games at United? He did a good job there. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see him change some things. I think the big change that a lot of people think is possible, and I think it's very possible, and I think it would make a lot of sense balance-wise, is where we have McTominay playing more sort of as a number 6, which is something that ironically was always linked to Carrick, right? Wasn't it always like Carrick wanted to make, Carrick wanted to make McTominay a number 6, and I think it's a chance we could see sort of Donny dropping a bit deeper to help with the build up and help him move the ball up the pitch, because I know people will go, well, that front four doesn't matter because, you know, McTominay and Fred can't get it to them anyway. Things likely that we'll see Donny drop a bit to help with that, and then Fred off the left behind Martial, sort of helping with that defensive work, similar to what he does with Brazil, right? Where with Brazil, Fred literally just like sits behind Neymar and just does all the defending that Neymar doesn't do, right? And maybe you could see a similar thing there with Martial as well. So look, this could actually be something different. I'm not going to buy into that just yet until we see it, but there's potential there for this to actually be a different in a very positive way to what we usually see.
Gemma Lamont said that Scholes just said that all the coaching staff should leave. They should be embarrassed to still be part of the coaching staff. And funnily enough, I've just had a message from Danny saying the same thing, that you'd be feeling embarrassed walking into there tonight knowing your coaching setup got the gaffer sacked. And do we expect? And you know, I think that's. I think it's a weird situation, Levin, isn't it? I mean, it's a short turnaround, but I said it yesterday. I mean, it wouldn't be possible because where would you get the coaching staff from? But if I had a choice on Sunday, sack Ollie, keep the coaching staff, or sack or keep Ollie and get a new coaching staff, I definitely would have gone for a new coaching staff, because that's how the team performs. But it is an odd situation. But it was 2 days ahead of the Villarreal game, and you're not going to you can't go down Tesco and get a coaching team. That's the problem.
Yeah, look, I get the frustration, I get the confusion, I get the people who are saying this, like, I totally get it, because it's true. From everything we know about that coaching setup, you could argue that all of them are equally as responsible for the poor performances as Ollie. But I don't think we should be focusing our attention on Carrick. I don't think we should be sitting there going, Carrick, man, nah, man, that's snaky, man. Like, I don't think we should do that, because ultimately it actually just, again, exposes the people above the coaching stuff and the managerial stuff. Look, why did they ever allow this to happen? We saw with Norwich and Aston Villa, look, it's not quite working. Before the international break or during the international break, give time for us to sort this out. I don't know how the people above Ollie allow this to happen, where, because it does make me think, Mark, if he had, let's say we came back in that game against Watford and won 3-2. He would still be in the job. And
I think if he's drawn, he would be here.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm not looking at the coaching staff and going, yeah, man, what are you, man, doing? Because I think it was Laurie Whitwell who might have said something like, there were reports at least suggesting that they thought they might have been going as well, right? Whereas, you know, so I don't think it's a malicious thing. I think it's just simply the club acknowledged, oh, we've had a howler here. We need somebody to get the players ready for their match, innit? I think what will be telling is when they do bring in whoever the next manager is, if they now insist on keeping McKenna and Carrick again, that's where I would go, yo, okay, these men cannot survive, 3 managers or whatever. Like, that's not a thing. We're not doing that. Something's wrong there,
Evan, isn't it? They're not coming back from that. They're not coming back from that at all, I don't think. I mean, look, just quickly on the managerial situation, Ollie sacked on Sunday. I don't think anyone could argue with that. Lots of names in the mix. Where do you want the club to go on this, and how quick do you want them to move? Are you happy with an interim and then a manager in the summer? Are you happy with Carrick till the summer? Or is it like, no, let's go get a manager now? And if so, who?
So the interim to manager thing that's going on is a disgrace. Like that's actually really, like, when I read the announcement, I was because my first thing is, are they writing off the season then? Like, why are you looking for an interim? Why aren't you looking for a manager? Like, the wording was really puzzling to me. No Carrick, no interim, go out there and get a manager. What I might say might confuse people here, but people I think are too obsessed or too, again, a bit too nitpicky in the wrong way with the whole managerial thing, because like, I'm seeing people debating on Twitter, like Poch versus Ten Hag or Poch versus whoever. And it's like, one, when it comes to the football being played, at least, right? Because I see people talking about, oh yeah, but Ten Hag plays better football than Poch. Like, when it comes to the football we played, if we were to remove the players and like the numbers and everything, and just had animated models, you probably wouldn't be able to tell who's who, like what team's what, right? And that's not me trying to be like snobby or anything, but it's just like certain people I think go like, oh yeah, but he plays nice. Ultimately, with a lot of the coaches we're being linked to, they've all shown that they play good styles of football. In different ways, of course. You know, Poch is a bit more of a narrow attack, more direct, and Ten Hag likes to make the picture wider. Different styles, but ultimately they've both shown that they can coach these styles and get players into that system and make that system work. I think what people need to understand most importantly, and I hate to say this because again, it sounds pessimistic, regardless of who comes in, guys, I hate to break it to you, it's not going to be an instant win situation. Maybe it could have been with Conte. I think Conte's the one guy I think maybe it could have been. Also with Zidane, maybe that could have been an instant win now situation. But those two are out of the picture, it seems, especially with Zidane. I'm seeing a lot of PSG fans on my timeline going, we're getting Zidane. So that seems to be that. Regardless now, I don't think there's anybody that comes in that realistically the expectation should be go out there and win now. I think everyone that we seem to be linked to, it's like they're going to need a bit of time. And I personally, as a fan, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with, you know, somebody coming in and they're maybe taking a bit longer to get to where we need to be to. But I think a lot of people are going, no, I don't want Poch because Poch ain't gonna, you know, come in and win now. And I'm like, yeah, but a lot of the other options aren't gonna do that anyway. And that's the harsh reality, I think.
Pochettino's quote on screen: "I'm happy in Paris. I know the city well, both as a player and a coach. I've always lived this type of situation. Things happen, and it's not my responsibility. What I'm going to say is, if you ask me, is that I'm happy in Paris. That doesn't mean anything." That's just a quote. I mean, he's got a match tomorrow. He can't say, I want to go to Manchester United, can he? You know, let's just wait and see, I think. Can you wish Drew Barrymore luck getting Pro Club's promotion tonight? Good luck. That's from a Drunken Productions. And Mark, United show their priorities by tagging their products in almost every IG post, says Nature Videos. I mean, what I would say is that I'm quite relaxed, Levin. If we get Poch, we get Poch. If we get Ten Hag, we get Ten Hag. If we get Brendan Rodgers, we get Brendan Rodgers. I don't really care as long as it happens quick, because I think we need to, whatever the new rebuild is, and there's no guarantees. I think one thing we have learned over the next 10 years is if we get a new manager and I hear United fans on Twitter say we're winning the league, they're getting blocked because there's no guarantees anymore. You know, but what there is a guarantee is with any of those three coaches is that they all play a brand of football that will instantly be way better than what we've been watching, because, you know, Pochettino presses very high up the pitch. You've mentioned about Ten Hag and the width, and Brendan Rodgers is very adaptable in many different positions and ways of playing, as we've seen with United over the last 3 years. This is pub football. Like, you know, some of the ways we've played in the last few weeks has been horrific. So we will see that. And as for like titles and cups and things like that, I think some United fans need to get in the room. Like, why are you talking about titles? Like, we're nowhere near that. First of all, we've got to actually have an identity, and at least some of those managers will deliver that. Yeah,
I think identity is a really important thing that at least a lot of the people we're being linked to would bring that. I think that's the positive. I also think a lot of people have been a bit unfair. Like, I see people talking a lot about like Poch's downsides, right? And then I don't see them doing it with some of the other managers we're linked to, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just a matter of like, because they've seen Poch in the Prem, so like they're more familiar with Poch. Maybe that's what it is. But like, if we're gonna talk about all the managers, let's talk about them fairly. Like, I'm a big advocate of Ten Hag. I've spoken about Ten Hag on this channel a bunch, but I can tell you Ten Hag's potential downsides at least, and I seem to like just not see anyone mention anything about, you know, any other managers negatively at least that we're linked to other than Poch. But you know, that's just how it is, isn't it?
Well, it is, and also I think with the managerial situation, it's like, well, yeah, you can have a pop at anybody and say that, you know, this, that, and the other. I think a lot of it, and I saw it last night. I was in a group last night, and I was like, I wouldn't mind Poch, and no, I want Ten Hag. I desperately want Ten Hag. Me too. I want Ten Hag, and it's like you know what it is. It's like transfer season. You know, everyone wants Sancho, and then someone mentions Sarr from Watford. No, fuck, I don't want Sarr. I want Sancho, and I think some fans, understandably, have got their preference and they only want that. For me, I don't know about you, but I'll ask you actually. For me, I don't really care out of those three I mentioned before. If we get any of them, I'm like, yeah, let's move. But obviously, I just don't want this situation to continue for longer than tonight, maybe Chelsea.
Yeah, you know that you know what, that reminds me a lot of me. You know, I was really high on David Brooks. You know, so when we didn't get him, I was
He was in my
heartbroken.
fucking mentions. I mean, look, hopefully he's going to get well soon, but this was a long time before that. But everyone was like, "You're going to get David Brooks." Brooks. It was just all summer. It was just relentless. And I was like,
I just
I don't even
remember
mind
you
the player,
raging.
but yeah.
I remember you raging at sort of people in chat just going, "We're gonna get David Brooks," and it just it's funny now, and it's a good thing we ended up getting Sancho. Who knows how it would have went. And speaking of Sancho, look, I'm looking forward to seeing how he does because he impressed me a lot off the right in this game, in the Watford game. Sorry, I think it's one of these games where Villarreal are going to definitely have a lot of the ball, but what we know about them in defense is that they are very good at being compact and hard to break down. And in Sancho, Van der Beek, and Martial, you have three players who are really good at exploiting space. And that's going to be important in a game where there's not going to be much space. So, like, you want people who are your best at it, right? So that, you know, you have the better chance of sort of breaking those guys down. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how those guys doing it.
Yeah. How do you think this game's going to go tonight? Because lots of people have spoken about, look, for me, I've not got a massive problem with Bruno being dropped or Rashford being dropped. I just don't understand how those two get dropped as a statement, but then Maguire and McTominay don't, who were abysmal at the weekend. But how do you feel the game is going to go? Because Villarreal dominated possession at Old Trafford and we basically won it late, the same as Atalanta. This is a game Villarreal need to win. Again, we're playing a team with a few injury problems, but Emery's a good coach. They do to keep it tight. Do you think there's going to be goals? Do you think it will be tight? Do you think Carrick will want it to be tight because a point's good anyway?
Yeah, this is a team that is dealing with a lot of injury problems, right? Like, looking at the name of injuries, what Alcacer, Danjuma, who dominated us, Moreno, who is like was their top goal scorer last season, Capoue, who was like their best player in the final against us in Gdansk. Like, that's a lot of key players missing. But like you sort of alluded to,
I think Capoue and Danjuma are actually starting.
No, they're not. They're not starting. They're out.
I'm sure they are.
No, they're out. Danjuma and Capoue are injured. Oh, no, actually, no, Capoue. Oh, no, they actually. Oh, wait, they are starting. Oh, dear.
Rulli, Ablio, Dorez, Pareo, Capoue, Foyth, Estebanan, Trigueros, Danjuma, Pino, Gomez. No Marino. Al Cesar's on the bench. Chukwueze's back on the bench.
You know what? Yeah,
Coquelin's out.
Scratch all that. Look, Danjuma's playing, so we got to actually sit up now because Danjuma's playing. That guy's serious. All right, cool. Look. Oh dear, Danjuma's playing. That guy's scary, you know. I don't know where. Wasn't he at Bournemouth a couple of seasons ago? That brother is.
I don't know where he was, but he took Delow to the Arndale, didn't he? He took him shopping when he was. He was at Bournemouth. Yeah, I've just checked.
Well, look, you know, it's going to be a hard game, but we do need a point. All we need is a point in it. Look, with those guys playing, that obviously it does pose us more of a threat. I think the important thing to remember, based off of the last time we played them, and I think a part of why we are seeing McFred as well, even if it wasn't for almost like a lack of options for that position, I think the reason we see McFred is last time we played them, a lot of the time it was sort of McTominay sort of isolated alone in that pivot, and he didn't really have the best support from his surrounding midfielders. And I think that's why, you know, having McTominay and Fred to sort of just occupy that space is probably what Carrick is looking to do in terms of trying to nullify their threat, and having people who can go across and help double up on the wings, right? Because Danjuma bullied Delow in that game, right? So, you know, let's say the same sort of things happening where Danjuma's trying to expose Wan-Bissaka. At least you have, you know, McTominay on that side who can come across and help out potentially. But it's not going to be an easy game. Like, Villarreal are actually really good. Emery's a good coach. But like you said, we need a point. And you'd like to hope we'd be able to do that. New manager bounce, right? That's all we need.
Well, Ronald Jacobs just put a super chat in there talking about, you know, Rashford and Bruno and the game against Chelsea. I mean, what's your take on that? Because I actually think tonight's more important than Chelsea, because Chelsea's 3 points. There's loads more points. But if you lose tonight, you could take the situation out of your... Everyone's saying, well, we'll beat Young Boys. But if Villarreal beat us in the right way, we'll be watching Villarreal Atalanta, hoping that that result happen. It won't matter what we do against Young Boys, basically, if we lose the wrong way tonight. And I know there's ways we can lose tonight and still be in a strong position, but If we lose 1-0 tonight, or 2-0 or 3-0, we're in massive problems if Atalanta then beat Villarreal, because we will finish third. So tonight is more important than Chelsea in some ways, because we could end up back in the Europa League.
Yeah, I don't think we're in a position to sit there and go, we need to rotate for the Chelsea game.
Yeah,
I just don't. I think that would be, if that was the approach taken, I think that would be very naive on Carrick and McKenna and Phoenix. But and look, they're no strangers to being naive at times, but no, it just wouldn't make sense, because we are at risk of not being in the Champions League, you know, if this result doesn't go away. And also, as much as there have been players who have been bad that haven't been dropped, so what I'm about to say might sound a bit wrong. Like, the players who have been dropped haven't been phenomenal. Like Bruno and Rashford, like, under normal circumstances, like if they had been dropped, I don't think people should really like bat their eye to that. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. I think the only reason why it looks a bit odd is just because Maguire is still in the team. That's the one where I go, why aren't you playing Bailly? But again, it really shows just sort of what Carrick thinks of Bailly, I guess, right? He just clearly isn't a big fan of him. And he clearly does just rate Maguire quite a bit, even with his poor form. So, yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, that's for me. Look, I'm a massive fan of Bruno, and I really like Rashford, and I can't argue with them being dropped. And if he dropped McTominay and Maguire, I'd have gone, you know what? That's a clean sweep. I agree with that. Problem for me is that if I'm dropping any of those four, Maguire's getting dropped first, then McTominay, then Rashford, then Bruno. But I agree with you, Levin. I think, you know, it's a valid point, but it's the same point we would have been making last week, because this is what Ollie would have done. This is the sort of thing. Ollie always felt that Donny was a Bruno replacement, not a McTominay replacement. And, you know, Martial's a Rashford replacement. But Ollie would never drop Maguire. And he never, you know, he's, as I've said before, I heard this from the bloody training ground. Maguire, he sees McTominay as his Roy Keane. Well, I doubt Ollie was sat there going, McTominay's my Roy Keane, and no one else agreed. Carrick has to agree with that. He's been with him for 3 years. So it isn't a surprise what he's done with the team. I just don't know how this game's going to go. I mean, Ronaldo is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. We've not even spoken about Ronaldo. You know, he's just seemed to have become this peripheral figure, isn't he? You know, give me the key, give me the chances and I'll score. Don't give me the chances and you won't even notice I'm here.
Yeah, well, look, I guess let's talk about Ronaldo in like the context of like tactics and what this could mean in this game. If we are going to play the 4-2-3-1 that we are accustomed to, I think it'll be really fun to see Donny playing in what is probably his best role as a footballer, as like a shadow striker, right? Being able to bomb forward and get into the box, which you know he loves to do. I think what made that really effective for him when he did it at Ajax was that you had Tadic, who would drop as a false nine, and that movement, you know, would create a lot of space and opportunities, which, you know, if Ronaldo is just sitting in the box like a number 9, or if he's playing like a strict sort of staying up forward, you don't get that same sort of movement, and so there's not that space there for Donny to exploit in that way. So the dynamic between them, if he is playing as a number 10 and not as sort of like a hybrid 8 sort of thing, it'll be interesting to see the dynamic between those guys in attack. Ronaldo scores goals. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's always hard to sort of sit here and talk about Ronaldo, because he can. There's been games where he's almost been not there, it feels like, for a lot of the game, but then he just gets you the goal. And I think there's many sort of tactical issues and blah 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 that you could talk about all day long. But this is the kind of game where we just need a result. You just want Ronaldo there to just get you a goal. And more balls from Sancho on the right, you know, more crosses. I want to see more of that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see Martial trying to play off Ronaldo and find his space that way. Like, Ronaldo will be Ronaldo tonight. I hope he just gets some goals. That's all I can ask for him.
I think it'll be very interesting how it pans out. And I think ultimately, you know, we've spoken about this before as well. You know, with under Ollie, there was a few people that was sort of like, I want United to lose. I would hope that has disappeared now. You know, this is you know, a few weeks ago, Ronaldo scored a late goal against Atalanta. We were absolutely terrible, and that's why I mentioned Ronaldo, because out of nothing he got that goal that probably should just about stop us having to play Europa League football. That's what tonight's about for me. This is about, look, Carrick will not be manager by the time we play Young Boys, I don't think. So not winning tonight is not a good thing. Go into the kitchen, mate. So yeah, we've got to win, mate. Well, not win, but we need some positivity, because this is going to be short-lived under Carrick. It might only be tonight.
Yeah, look, I'm not buying that. I think we're gonna see much more of the same in terms of like just the social media reaction. Like I've already seen people like going Carrick out and stuff, which I find hilarious in it because it's like
Well,
I
I
don't
did
want
it at
him.
the start. It was a joke.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want him to stay where it's like, and I know we're gonna get with the next manager as well because I think regardless of who it is now, whoever comes in, they're gonna instantly have probably a lot of people who don't want them, and so like. Yeah, I'm just letting it be known now. I'm not doing Poch in, Poch out. Like, let's say it is Poch that we get. I'm not doing Poch in, Poch out. Don't ask me. I will not respond. I might actually just be rude to you in it. I'm not. Don't call me a Pochasexual. Like, don't like. I'm not doing none of that. You know what I mean? With the next manager, like, I don't want
that probably
any of
means
that.
something. Pochasexual.
Yeah, it probably does. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if.
But we do, you raise a good point because we saw this with Arsenal, and I think the club have generated this because I think when you get a modern fan base which is not for a manager, and that manager stays longer than they should, and then Man United are on their fourth manager now because we've had Moyes, we've had Van Gaal, we've had Mourinho, fifth manager in 10 years. That's quite a, we were never like that. And now it's like, oh, it is. I think that the club have got to be very careful because the fan base has just become very impatient. And if you appoint the wrong man from the start, people in the modern world will just be like, I never wanted him in the first place. Oh, look, we've had a bad performance. Yeah, and then it starts from day one.
Yeah, it's weird though, because this is getting into like a deeper conversation I don't even want to get into because I know people like take it out of context and stuff, but it's like we've been spoiled by Fergie because even if you look, like we've had Sir Matt Busby, we had Sir Alex Ferguson, and like in between that there was like a long run of managers that weren't really, obviously it's before my time, but from everything you sort of read up on and watch and stuff, it's like you had a long run of managers where it wasn't obviously at that level. And I think a lot of Fergie's sort of longevity has almost like it makes people forget that like that's not the norm. Do you know what I mean? Like I think people almost expect that, where I'm not saying our standards should be lower. It's not like a standards conversation, but I think us having to churn through managers, it's like I almost just see it now. The way I see it, just see it as just like it's just a part of the game, innit? Like I don't want us to continue to not have success. I hope we eventually find that winning formula and the right sort of identity for our club. But yeah, it's weird, innit? Because a lot of us aren't used to this, right? We're not used to, churning through managers 2-3 years here, 2-3 years there. Especially if you're like me. Let's say you grew up literally through the Ferguson era, like you're literally not used to it at all. At least there's I speak to some old United friends who will DM me and stuff going, yeah, 11, man, we had this before. We had managers come in and out and it wasn't really working out. But for a lot of people like me, it's just like I'm just not used to this.
Well, let's see what happens, mate. The players are about to come on the pitch. First, just before you go, I think you will be on the shows later tonight. I never know.
Yeah.
and what's your score prediction? As little as it matters, and it's probably one of the hardest games in the world to ever predict because it's just
score prediction. Wow.
Or which way did not score prediction, but who's what
I think we can win this game. I think I wouldn't be surprised by like a 2-1 win. A 2-1 win I think would be good. New manager bounce, some players who got points to prove, Donny, Martial, Sancho, a nice blend of attack. I still don't expect us to like not leak goals. Like I can see a world where we do just have another clanger with Maguire or something, but I'd like to see some good football be played, some players with some energy and some passion and desire. That's what I want to see.
We got passion. McTominay's ready. He's got the passion. He's just had a pint of passion. He's drinking it. It's all coming down his mouth. Passion, freedom. Levin, I've enjoyed having you on, and I will speak to you soon, mate.
Always a pleasure, guys. See you for the fan forum after the match. Hopefully, it's a good one.
It will be a good one because of course it's an early kickoff. It's like a 5:45 kickoff on a Tuesday night. This is weird when we're in the UK. So we'll be having the fan forum is going to be sort of around 8 o'clock. So it'll be a good one. Make sure you tune into that, everyone.
Yep. All right. See you guys all later. Appreciate it.
See you in a bit, Evan. Okay, we're very close to kickoff here. A few super chats to catch up on. A story going around on Twitter is that Valverde is being considered for interim, says Zhao. Yeah, we did speak about that. It's from Romano, so probably one for the morning show or on the fan forum actually, because we're about to kick off now. But yeah, it's definitely legit. Obviously, Pochettino's done his interview. I wouldn't worry about it. It's the same as Brendan Rodgers one last week. What do you expect them to say? Yeah, I want to come to Man United. I'm happy where I am. You expect that. He didn't rule it out. Would you rather get demoted and win the Europa League to a book of Champions League or try for top four? Realistically, what would be easier for United? You got to go for both, Webaf. I don't believe in that. We have seen 4 managers going. However, Phil Jones still survived. Does he have high stocks or something in the club? No, just no one else wants him, Ronald. And our board is so stupid they keep giving him a new contract. Richie, thank you very much. Please subscribe to the channel. By the way, we're only about 500 away from 220,000, as you can see in the top right hand corner. The Champions League theme never gets old, says United Stan Twitter. We love that. I'm going to go with I can't remember what I said. I mean, I do agree with Levin. I think this could be a 2-1 win to United. It could be a 2-1 win to them. Could be a 1-0. I'm actually going to go with a draw because I've been so bad recently on predictions. I mean, absolutely terrible. So I'm going to go with a draw, which means United probably will win. I'm expecting. I don't know what to expect. If this was Solskjaer in charge, I'd expect a shit performance. They're all hugging in the middle. Let's do. I'll guarantee you now, and it shouldn't be being said, and it would upset Paul Scholes. They've probably just had a hug and said, "Let's do it for Ollie," which is just madness. But you sense that that's what United have just done. Had a hug and said, "Let's do it for Ollie." Maybe you should have done that for the last 2 months, you prats. But look, I think they're still living off this bloody emotion of Ollie getting the sack. So I can confirm McTominay is not wearing a kilt. He might be pumped up and singing freedom, but he's not wearing a kilt. He is in the normal kit, which you can get from all Manchester United retailers. You might not get it until 2023. Their lead times to deliver stuff is appalling, but it is a nice kit. Hoku says Ronaldo is going to get a hat-trick. And Poch publicly saying he's happy in Paris, game over. No. You've got to understand how the world works, mate. I hate Paris. I hate French things. I hate the Eiffel Tower. I hate the Champs-Élysées. I hate Stella Artois, which is French. He's not going to come out with stuff like that, isn't he? Because he might not get the United job. So, he's got, imagine he'll lose his job if he's not careful. Do we still not go with proven title managers with an attacking approach, says Darshan? Well, we're not kicked off here yet. The referee's waiting for something. Probably waiting for the TVs to tell him to do it. But I'm a little bit big on that desk, Yeah, that's what she said. No, I've only just noticed when I lean forward, I'm massive. Stella, just probably about an inch in. Just about an inch. Why are we not kicking off? What's going on? Ten Hag just said nobody at United has contacted him. That does not surprise me, Chiri. Well, I don't know why they've not started the game. Oh, he's got a problem with his batteries. She's putting new batteries in. Oh, come on. Champions League and you've not put batteries in. He's not happy. She's not happy. Ref's audio's out. Bruno, look at that. It's all about, but you can tell he's not happy. Well, the thing about Bruno is we already knew this from Ollie. He was like, Bruno's never happy when he doesn't play. So he'll be fuming. Absolutely fuming. And there's not been an Ollie pitch invasion. Imagine that. I'm here, Carrick. Can I sit with you, Carrick? No. I've picked Donny, man. I've thrown you under the bus, like. Stella is Belgian. That's caused a lot of problems. Stella Artois is Belgian. I mean, why are you drinking it in the first place? That's more of a concern. Ollie going to come in WWE walkout style. That's why there's the delay, says Bain. Yeah, it's going to be the quickest spin around you've ever seen. It's turned heel. He's going to come out in a black leather jacket with spiky hair and shades. He's going to grab Carrick, give him a bloody tombstone, and then kick McKenna and take his place on the bench. And then McTominay's going to run over and put the shades on as well, and they'll have a hug, and then he'll score a hat-trick. I'm killing time, as you can tell. Poch to United and Zidane to PSG, says Chris. Thanks for all the super chats. Please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. This is a bloody joke. The game was meant to kick off 5 minutes ago. They're just... this is probably the best bit of entertainment we'll get from United, though. They're doing nice little triangle passes. Yeah. Can I just say as well, Ollie is not doing a lap of honour against Arsenal. It was a joke on Twitter that people took seriously. I did post on Twitter at the weekend after his farewell speech that he's going to have a lap of honour. I don't think it's going to happen. It was a joke. You never know with United. They might do it, but it's not going to happen. Yeah, Bruno's not very happy, and he won't be happy. He won't be happy at all. He shouldn't be starting. Look at him, Scooby-Doo. He better have a bloody good game tonight, because fucking hell, he was shit at the weekend, wasn't he? This is a joke. How can the ref not check his system before it? Well, they're all this is good play from United. They're all passing it around. Best bit of passing I've seen. Oh, there's a tweet in this. There's a tweet in this. Yeah. Ref's legged it. He doesn't want to He doesn't want to be the ref. So yeah, the game hasn't kicked off because the referee's not bloody ready. What a joke. Someone needs the sack. Here he is. I think maybe he went for a wee. He's messing around with his belt. It's like Ollie's the ref. That would be funny. Poor from ref, deserves the sack from his job more than Ollie, says Lucas. Ref out. The ref's a prat. And what's he doing now? Ref was dropping the kids off, says David. Yeah, it looked like he might have done. And is Bruno dropped? Yes, he is. And Rashford, Sebastian. Yes, he is. Right, he's starting it now. Take the knee. And here we go. Villareal players don't bother with it. And United are off. There we go. Long ball straight. Why do we do that? We're not playing bloody rugby. Why do we do that? Why? Clip this, somebody, please, and put it out there. Why do United take a kickoff, give it to Lindelof and boot it out of play? It's like we're playing rugby. Why do we do it? It's infuriating. You've got possession. Why boot it out for them? Why don't you keep the frigging ball? What is that all about? I don't know why we do that. Ollie's still here. Doesn't mean we're going to lose. I still think we can win, but I'm just saying, from I just don't know. Can you imagine Man City doing that or Liverpool doing that? Why would you do that? What's wrong with the TV camera, says Abhishek? I don't know. Don't get that in my head. I don't notice these things that you notice. And now you've put it in my head. I'm going to start thinking about it. It is one of the stupidest things in the world to boot the ball out from a kickoff and go, wow, we've got them in their own half. Now we just need them to make a mistake and we'll get a tap in. United requested for a 10-minute delay as they wanted to do some long ball practice before the match starts, says Sanel. Yeah, I can confirm the delay was not a 5 minutes silence for Ollie. It was because the referee had to go and drop the kids off. In Ollie farewell statement, he blundered and said he will be back in another role. What do you think about that, says Ronnie? Did he? No, don't go scaring people. I've not heard that. Ollie took out the batteries and inserted them into McFred, says Hector. What's from the TV camera? And United... Okay, we've done all that. Okay. Carrick is at Poundland Ollie, says Sebastian Bodry. Well, here's Martial. That's a foul. You might book him, you know. No. Lovely kit, this one. It's a nice kit. That's a good start. It's a nice kit. It probably would be a yellow card, that, in I nearly said in real life. I'm not playing FIFA, but Ronaldo lit this. It's about 30 yards out. Obviously, Bruno's not on the pitch. Boo-hoo. So I think he'll hit this. Remember, we're sponsored by Manscaped today. Hopefully, United will show some balls. You can as well. 25% off. Link in the video description. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Manscaped, fine quality tools for your family jewels. 25% off and free worldwide shipping. Very good products. So it's not going to be a shot. It's going to be a cross by Tellez. That should be a goal. Brilliant defending. Side netting from McTominay. It was a lovely delivery by Tellez. Absolutely fantastic delivery. Defender does really well. And then McTominay probably should do better from there. Professional footballer should do better from there. Hi, Mark. I have followed United Stand for some time. Before that, I used to follow other channel. United Stand speaks about things as they are and not speak to impress anyone. This is the best platform, says Shushrit. Thank you very much. You're a very wise man. I'm not interested in Romano's tweet, Phil. We're watching a game of football. Couldn't give a shit. I think they're just interchanging a bit, Ronaldo and Martial. We're definitely playing with a 4-2-3-1. Time is out a little bit because I'm at 3:45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 3. When can we hear your Carrick voice? I haven't got a Carrick voice. I just used to do Carricky. That's Ollie, not Carrick. I've never had a Carrick voice. At least he's got his earphones out. I think United have started off quite well in the first 5 minutes. 7-minute press. I tell you what, Darren Fletcher's way more involved. He was never on the touchline before. Villarreal on the attack. Oh, whoa. Why is Wan-Bissaka dropping off there? He's inviting the shot. That's crap defending. Like, contain him. Don't drop it. You see Wan-Bissaka there? He gives him 10 yards to have a shot. You've got to close him down. An early save by De Gea. You should check out the whole interview. He did blunder there. Something is planned. No need to read this out, says Ronnie. Okay. I don't know why Wan-Bissaka dropped off there and invited the shot. It was a bit silly, really. Martial's playing central and Ronaldo's playing to the left. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about that. Let's keep an eye on it. Ronaldo will drift inside. He's done that a lot in his career. Did it at Real Madrid, did it at Juventus, but it's a straightforward save by De Gea, but we should be closing that down. Fletcher has Carrick's earphones in now. So that initial first 3 or 4 minutes from United, it's like the 6-minute abs, isn't it? United and their traditional 6-minute press has now diluted into sitting back. I mean, look, we should never be arrogant against Villarreal. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, that Europa League final that we lost on penalties. I think if Ollie'd won that, he'd have had enough in the bank to stay in this job a little bit longer than he did. So, Villarreal have always been we've never really battered Villarreal, have we? Fletcher promoted to head DJ tonight with the earphones, says Michael Nelson. What are they listening to? they've got to be listening to something. What was Carrick listening to when he was next to Ollie, and what is Fletcher now listening to? If you're listening to us, Darren, give us a wave, because he's got to be listening to something. Camera angle seems really low and close. I don't like it, says Joshua. Don't make me think about the camera angle, Joshua. I've already said this to somebody. I haven't noticed it, and I'm going to notice it now. Yeah, probably. So 7.5 minutes gone. Villarreal just starting to feel their way in. We should win a throw in here, though. Could be listening to TalkSport. Yeah, that's probably the level of United's coaching, to be honest. It's interesting, isn't it? It's very early in the game, but I'm only going to make a prediction. This is not fact, but if it's not been scintillating from United so far, has it? It doesn't look like it's a bounce performance. It looks like let's go out there and try our best. It doesn't look like it's anything innovative or new. Yeah, David, more than happy. He says maybe he's listening to Adele's new album. Yeah. Could be sing your dialect on Twitter Space, something like that. Yeah. Fletcher listening to a podcast on football management for dummies, says Faber. Villarreal on the attack here, so just want to be a little bit careful because they're in the box. Lovely little bit of play there. Cross comes in, front post, good bit of defending by Maguire. Clears it away, but Villarreal win up the second balls again. Ronaldo is definite. Well, no, Ronaldo's gone central now. Donny's having to play very deep. There's another shot there. Oh, he's in. Shoots into the side netting. 2 shots already. Listening to Don't Look Back in Anger, says Daniel White. 2 shots already for Villarreal. So nothing ever happens. Nothing happens at all. Solskjaer used to communicate with staff sitting higher in the stadium back when he was in Mulder, says FIFA. And he's on with Ricky, Mark, Shape, lads. Oh, I need to read you something out from Ricky, actually, Brad Lewis. Listening to Fergie, says Harris. And listening to Fergie or Woodward, says Connor. And listening to radio pundits analysing the game for tactical ideas, says Graham. Well, we may as well listen to this. Another cross from Villarreal and a corner. Is it a corner? Is it a corner or he's gone for a corner? I think he was looking for a penalty, actually. We got this message from Ricky. No, it's never a penalty. What are they talking about? His hands into his body. Ricky sent us this message, and it was this. He said, "What a lineup! Go on, Michael. Thumbs up." Yeah, Ricky will just be very happy that Bruno's been dropped. It's never a penalty, and it won't be a penalty. It's a corner. His hand was into his body like that, and it was a very close gap. Never a penalty. I'm with you, Pav, as well. So corner to Villarreal. I'd love to beat Villarreal as well. They're becoming to United what Burnley are to me on FIFA. Like they're becoming that team. Another corner. I don't know why Ricky. Well, Ricky will be happy with the team because Bruno's been dropped and Martial's starting and Donny's starting, so he'll be happy with that. And Rashford's been dropped. You don't like Rashford either, so yeah, there's a few, but there's no Matic. I mean, is Mata on the bench today? I think he might be on the bench today. Another corner to Villarreal. Yeah, you know what? United have got all these good players, though, and there's no spark. As I say, you can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. And, Fred's just been sent back to Brazil there and headed over the bar by Pau Torres. Do you see how he just waited? Fred runs towards him like a little boy, and he just flicks it past him and puts a cross in. Made him look absolutely stupid there. We do need Poch. Look at that. Absolutely mugged him off. And we do need Poch more than a priest needs. Oh, I'm not reading that. You can't put stuff like that, Lucas. Grow up. Everyone is excited about Bruno Rashford being dropped, but Van der Beek and Martial subs on Saturday just prove it was always the plan to start them by Ollie, says Adelash. Yeah, Ronaldo is playing off the left wing. I'm dozing off, says Ash G. But no, there's no spark in the team. Now, to be fair to the players, I don't think you're going to get a spark until you do something different. You know, it's sacking Ollie. All the players would have felt yesterday is sad because it's the same thing, but someone's missing. Whereas if you sack the coaches and the manager, and a new manager comes in, it's like, bloody hell, this is something new. This just isn't. These players, I tell you what, I dread to think what Chelsea will do to us on Sunday. If we turn up to Stamford Bridge like this, oh, you know, it's going to be horrible. There's nil spark. You can't start a fire. Same shit, different face, says MP. And Fletcher and McKenna both got headphones in, says Connor Lee. And Armin, thank you very much for the super chat. Whether United have a plan for their new manager or not, they have given the suit for Carrick as soon as he became the interim manager. Swift plan, says Sanel. And everyone is excited about Bruno Rashford being dropped. I've done that one. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. Please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We're very close to 220,000. Bit of a flat start. Bit of a typical start that you get against Villarreal, actually. JC thinks there might be another thrashing on the cards. Yeah, what I would say is we don't want to concede first. I mean, it's not one of the most intimidating places to play in Europe as well. It's, you know, it's not even full. Who's the blonde lad in midfield? Never seen him, says Jay. And also, loving the content. I love the United stands. And by the way, what lineup would you have chosen? Says Manster Egg. And I'm basically watching Ollie, says Ed B. United draw against Villarreal. Burnley always smash you, says Red Baron. And have you noticed the composed, superb, the ball that Luke Shaw of last season is extremely nervous, timid, and off balance this season? Why do you think? Says Adaraj. And why do we keep playing long balls? It's like we're scared to play out the back. Because we can't, Armin. That's a handball by McTominay. Thinks he's bloody playing netball. He'd be good at netball because he's massive. I could imagine McTominay playing netball. There he is, hopping about again as well. The thing about McTominay is I've always said it, and I don't want to talk about it too much because people say, oh, you're always going on about McTominay, but I just don't get it. I just don't get it. There's Maguire. What's he going to do? Oh. Win a free kick. Well done, Harry. He's not going to get sent off for that, though, is he? Come on. Get on with the bloody game. It's like we're playing for a draw. We're actually playing quite slow. There's a rumour going around that McKenna, Fletcher and Carrick were just given extensions a few weeks ago. Probably explains why they're still here, says Jacob. They were given extensions recently, I think, but it won't be why they're still here. I think it's really more about who was going to train the team yesterday. We will know we have a good manager when all these players rotate through the team and we don't care one day, says Daryl. Yeah. Favourites FC. You can't start a fire. Lingard and Rashford sat together. I wouldn't. Some people were on about Lingard starting today. No way. I think that Jesse's got to go. And, you know, even if he starts getting a bit of game time under a new manager, he's still got to go. His future's not at Manchester United. Whatever about the West Ham kit. I know some people think he shouldn't play again because he posted that, but I don't. Ronaldo's gone central now. He's swapped with Martial. Lindelof should play CDM. Oh, God, we're back on that horse. I am doing a watch along tomorrow night for Man City PSG. It's got nothing to do with United being linked to Poch. I was doing it anyway, but that's how you pass out from the back through a press. Villareal, just it's like a passing practice for them. They're just knocking it around. I suppose it helps that they're wearing yellow. Right, here's Donny. Nice that's good play by Donny into Ronaldo. Bit of progression. Ronaldo loses it. Villarreal struggling in 12th place in Spain, but dominating United. And nothing new with Carrick. You just want to see some good attacking football, says Siggy. The thing is, though, for as long as I can remember, I remember United. Somebody will tell me the year. It was under Sir Alex. We got knocked. I might be mixing up years here, but I'm sure there was a year under Sir Alex where we didn't make it out the Champions League group. And then we went into the Europa League or the UEFA or whatever like that. And we played Bilbao and they absolutely battered us. They're going, and Spanish clubs tend to always batter Man United on possession. They're going long ball because Scooby-Doo and Fred just hide behind their forwards. No movement, no options, no clue, says Uber Melon. And I haven't really been paying attention to that. This is awful. United have to be the laziest team in the league. What are we watching, says Caramore. All the bounce of a bloody brick wall. Baby. Oh, God. How's he not intercepted that there, McTominay? Stick your bloody foot out. Him and Fred are being bypassed more times than a bloody unfortunate field for a shortcut for a dual carriageway. That happened to me when I was a kid, and I've never forgiven the Highways Agency. You can't start a fire. I'm going to keep singing it until we see a spark. I'll keep singing it. I can't believe somebody just said this just proves Ollie wasn't the only problem. Hello? We all knew that. Same shit, different day. They used to make T-shirts about this. Poch is pound shop Van Hal. Please Ollie back, says Ryan Mitchell. Well, all that's going to happen in this game, and I'm not saying we won't win it, but all that's going to happen in this game is even if we score a goal on the break, we're just going to be giving up possession and playing on the break. That's all we're going to do. Counter-attack FC. Mark, that Bilbao thing was in the season where City won their first Premier League as they also got knocked out in the Europa League to Sporting Lisbon, says Ewan Murray. Yeah, so was that the year when Aguero? That must have been Aguero year then. Maguire looked so nervous and on edge before the game, nowhere near the cool, calm and collected captain this team is screaming out for, says Nick. If you want to learn how not to press, keep watching, says Sean Finity. United are so bad at pressing. When they do press ups, they end up falling asleep. That doesn't work. Rubbish. This is how bad United are playing. I've lost my analogy skill. Yeah. That should have been a foul on Ronaldo there. It was actually quite a good pass by McTominay. Dan, thank you very much. And take off McTominay, put Van der Beek in the pivot and Bruno at number 10, says Jimmy M. Yeah, you will see an instant improvement. I don't know whether that was a foul on Ronaldo, actually. How would Pochettino, Ten Hag or Zidane make a difference if Woodward forces Carrick McKenna on them and dictates stuff he doesn't know about? The thing is, Adaraj, right? If you do get Pochettino in for the Arsenal game, and I don't know whether that will happen, he probably still will have to pick McTominay and Fred because he does like a 4-2-3-1. Good interception there, Wan-Bissaka. Here we go, look. McTominay and Fred fucking losing the ball within 3 seconds. Ronaldo has to come and save them. Ronaldo's coming back and playing in a fucking CDM role to sort it out. All the people. All I want is some free-flowing attacking football with youth development. Is it too much to ask, says Sebastian Badri? Yep, it is. Although United have... I'm going to count the passes. We've done about 7 passes here. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. No. Throw in. Martial is almost coming back into midfield to do Fred's job for him. This CDM partnership is awful. When will the pain end? Says B. Well, we've just seen Ronaldo coming back, Martial coming back. I have some wet paint here. Anyone fancy it? Instead of this football, we can Dutch and have a beer, says James C. Watch paint dry. I'll see what he did there. 22 minutes gone. Look, if United win 1-0, it's a great result. Maguire is a disgrace to the club. Ronaldo for captain, says World. Lewandowski's just scored. I don't know. That's a good point. That's a good point. So yeah, I am doing PSG Man City tomorrow. I was doing it anyway, but I suppose it's a lot more interesting now with potential Poch rumours. Yeah, Bayern Munich are playing Kiev. I think it's sunny there. Not sunny, snowing. Young Boys Atalanta is at 8 o'clock, which could have connotations for this game. I don't care who the new manager is. They need to get rid of these coaches addition by subtraction, says Kiru. And there's a very good analogy on the screen. You see, I can do it. I can do it. I'm not finished yet. Villarreal on the attack. We've not defended too badly. I mean, it's 0-0. I do like that Capoue. I thought Coquelin played against us at Old Trafford, but apparently it was Capoue. He ran the show. Absolutely ran the show. I've not even noticed Sancho. Someone said Sancho's playing well. I've got to say I'm missing bits of the game because it's been so fucking rubbish. Please subscribe, by the way. We're nearly at 220,000. And big shout out to Manscaped. That's the only balls you're going to see today. You're not going to see any balls unless you've got one yourself. But United haven't shown any yet. Links in the video description. 25% off and free worldwide shipping. I've just turned it on. That's the best action of the first half. Imagine we're not that desperate. But 25% off free shipping worldwide shipping. I can do this one live. Actually, in future, if we're going to keep Carrick as interim, I'm going to have a big list of chores that I can do whilst watching United. I could get a portable ironing board and just be like ironing shirts. And there's my press joke. There's my press joke. I can iron shirts. I'll be pressing better than United. What else could I do while I'm doing that? What else could I do? I could do the Tesco shop. I could have another browser. I could ask you for help. What should we have? What should we have for tea on Wednesday night in the Goldbridge house? And then you in the chat can give me suggestions like moussaka, chili, vegetarian lasagna, and then there's loads of things I could get done instead of having to watch this shit. Well, I could still watch it, but I could be multitasking. I could do going for Goldbridge. Could play FIFA on that screen whilst watching this. Could be streaming on Twitch while streaming on here and double dip. I nearly said double penetration. That's something else. Back stiff. Dream of Californication. Oh, Villarreal are in. Cut back. What a save by De Gea. He's done it again. Lovely save by De Gea. Just the 2 top class saves from De Gea already. Same shit from United. Yeah, you can do hashtag Ask Goldbridge on Twitter if you've got any questions. We'll do a bit of a Q&A. I don't rate Tellez defensively. I think going forward he's very good, but I don't know why people say drop Luke Shaw for Tellez. I mean, he's not very good defensively because he's not been given enough game time to develop and get used to this team. Thank you for making me laugh during these dark days, says Sean Finity. Well, no, thank you very much for laughing. Here's Donny, terrible ball. Ronaldo. Villarreal are just better than us. Oh, we've won a free kick. The two in the midfield need to go. We need to buy a CDM in January. The new manager needs to get rid of Fred and Scott. United to win 2-1, though, says Mohammed Idris. And do you think the board will give Carrick some transfer freedom in the January? Don't talk to me about Carrick and January. The only thing I want to see Carrick buying in January is in bloody Marks and Spencer's men's aisle buying socks in the January sales. I don't want him anything to do with Manchester United in January. I don't want him anything to do with Manchester United now. Maybe Unai Emery could become the next United manager, says Joel. And we are missing Bruno big time. We all know he makes mistakes, but at least try to make things happen out of nothing, says Philman. Yeah, you know, dropping Bruno was stupid. See what happens with this corner. Edward with the red skull, cut off one head of Ollie. 2 more, she'll take its place. You know, says Michael. We are missing Bruno big time. We all know he makes mistakes. We've done that one from Philman. Thank you very much for the super chats that are coming in. Lovely cross by Sancho. We're just waiting for the cross to come in here. This is where, this is probably United's best chance to score, actually. A Tellez cross and then get a big head on it from McTominay or Maguire. It's a crap cross. Crap cross. Ask Goldbridge, Big Sam or Steve Bruce? Well, if I had to choose, Steve Bruce. Ronaldo with a free header there. That was a good cross. Have you had a look at the other groups as they stand? Lots of potential for excitement for the final match days, says Mr. J. Majax. And say hello to the new boss, says the same as the old boss. Hoping you lasses get the reference, says Spam. And have you had a look at... Yeah, I've done that one from Mr. Majax. And the only decision I want Carrick to make in January is his New Year resolution, says Daniel Howe. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. This is horrible. Ollie out now, says Jenks. And what about Laudrup as interim, says Koto. That was a great leap by Ronaldo. Hashtag Ask Goldbridge. You can do it on Twitter. How many players from the starting lineup do you see being at United in 5 years' time? Well, United don't like to sell anybody, do they? So probably all of them. Ronaldo will have retired by then. Dream of California. I'm looking forward to the Bake Off final. I don't know about any of you. I'm just like, roll on 9 o'clock. What a joke. I'd like to say we're growing into the game, but I'm not sure. What a ball by Coquelin. Unfortunately, the striker couldn't take it down. It was a lovely ball. Not Coquelin, Capoue. I always get them mixed up. Lovely ball. How's Donny doing? I mean, that's a very good question. Just as bad as anybody else, really. I mean, look, he's not Rod Stewart. I mean, he's not Harry Potter. He's not a magician. Rod Stewart's not a magician. He's a very, very good solo artist, but he's not a magician. Ask Goldbridge, how long do you think we can survive like this? I don't think it's possible to get different results with the same coaching staff. I think that's a very good question from Janash. I've literally just tweeted it myself. even if you bring Poch in, Zidane in, Ten Hag, whoever you bring in, you've still got a massively neglected midfield. And, you know, there's not a lot you can do about that. Defensively, I think there's options for a new manager. Offensively, I think there's options for a new manager. But there's a free kick for United right on the edge of the box here. It's a shame we haven't got Bruno, actually. This is Bruno territory. Was that a penalty? Looks like it's a bloody penalty to me. It looked like he was in the box. Let's have a look at this back. No, it's outside the box. Definitely outside the box. Falls in the box. Yeah, but so yeah, I don't see a. I think a new manager's got a problem. We always said we're Bagel FC, and you can't. A new manager can't produce a midfielder. He can't produce. He can't get He can't put Matic in a time machine and take him back 5 years. He can't put Fred and McTominay in a machine and make them anywhere near decent. And they're our only options, really. So, evening, Mark. Do you reckon Carrick will be on the phone to Ollie at half time? Says James Taylor. And when the going gets tough, Carrick gets rough. Says Ban Cooper. If we score a goal, I'm going to sing that. United start with 9 men. When you've got McFred and Magaluf, Ollie is probably sat at home wondering what's happened to his passion and energy merchants. What's your take on Valverde interest? I think it's interesting. He's an interim option, isn't he? This could be a goal here. Let's just hold on a bit. Ronaldo. We might get a bit of Sue. Sue, get your coat. No, into the wall. She's not coming out yet. Positive. See how players are coming close to each other compared to Solskjaer's matches, resulting in safer passes and tighter defending. Maybe do a Marge then. I haven't seen that Abhishek at all. I've not seen any positives. I've not seen nothing any different at all. There's no improvement or spirit. Wonder what's been done in training sessions. Puppets all over the coaching area, says Football Bloods TV. Ronaldo took the free kick. Here's Ronaldo on the left. Good play by Ronaldo. Into Martial. Oh, a bit unlucky. Ronaldo. Oh, nearly. Oh, Fred. I think Fred's might have done his. Fred's in trouble here. No joke. Fred's in trouble. He's gone down with no one near him, and he might have twisted his knee. Villarreal are playing on. Are they playing on? No, they're going to put it out. Now this could be. This might be a problem for Fred. Matic, fuck off. Just put Donny back and bring Bruno on. Fucking idiots. To be honest, people are saying, yes, Fred's injured. I would rather bloody McTominay got injured than Fred. I think Fred's more important to us. Oh, he's done his ankle. Or he's done his hamstring. I don't know what he's done here. Oh, McTominay's come over. Scooby-Doo, what are we doing? Get me some iron brew. Get me some iron brew and a pasty. What we're going to do, just put Matic and me on. Get him a kilt. We'll be fine. The hilarious thing about McTominay is he doesn't speak Scottish. He just speaks English because I think he was born here. But Fred's gone down. He's all right. I think Fred's all right. He's not on a stretcher. He'll be fine. No, he's going to be all right. All those people who were happy that Fred's injured, they're gutted now. I wasn't happy that you're injured, Fred. I actually think I'd rather lose. I wouldn't want to lose you. Delow's warming up as well. Fucking hell. Everyone except Bruno. Why are we treating Pogba like a cripple? Get him on. He's brilliant on his day, says Lucas. That McTominay impression will live with me for the rest of my days, says School Thuggery. And they say football is only a game, but for United fans at the moment, there is no joy in watching the men's team play. Should be angry, but I'm just sad, says Kieran Byrne. The only thing that will be different is that Ollie's input is no longer there, but the coaching plan is still atrocious, says Reverse Clouds. Well, look, remember a draw is a good result for us. I just wish Villarreal would accept it. Which they won't because they want to win. Well, ref, why are you playing on for? There's 2 players down injured. This ref's an idiot. He forgot his batteries. He needed a poo. And now he's letting play go on for head injuries. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let it go. Let it go. For 8 minutes to go to half time. It's probably been the best half we've ever had. Oh, you know what? This is right up there with my career mode. United Stand FC against Blackburn the other day. Scintillating stuff. Fred's fine. Don't get hyped. Dominating header there. McTominay, the first touch of a tractor. Mark, Scrappy Doo is warming up. Let me at him. Let me at him. Who's Scrappy Doo? Up this, up. Mark, will Fellaini do well in our midfield? Be honest now. All bias aside. He's retired, hasn't he? Does Fellaini still play? Don't bring him back. YUFC. Thoughts on Donny finally getting a start? Says Scott. It's not really Donny's sort of game. Although he's in. Go on, Donny. No. It's not. This is not. To be honest, if I was Bruno, I'd be very happy I'm not playing. Oh, go on, Fred. Have a shot. Your sarcasm is killing me, says Samir. Killing me softly with his words. Killing me softly with his song. Bow, 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 bow. It is Avram, Joel, Alex, and Ed who picks the team, says Jenks. And I don't think Bruno and Rashford will be that bothered. Here's Wan-Bissaka. Go on, whip the cross. Sancho. No. Get Ahmad on. Ahmad's the new Donny. Why don't you pick Ahmad? Carrick out. Get Ahmad on. It's disgraceful. £35 million from Atalanta. Never gets a kick. Get him on. Carrick, you bloody get him out. Get him out. Sentimentality. Get Ahmad on. Fletcher is listening to Easy on Me on repeat. He's been for weeks, but don't go easy on them, Mark. Go hard or go home. Shout out to Susan, says AJ. And Mark, thoughts on Carrick's lineup tonight, says Ollie. Crap. Yeah, crap. I would have never picked Scott McTominay again, probably, but I wouldn't have picked him. He was crap at the weekend. He got subbed off at half time. I'd have played Donny next to Fred and not dropped Bruno, to be honest with you. That's McTominay's fault. Donny gets a yellow card because of McTominay. Well done. Well done. Donny in the book because McTominay can't pass. Bloody hospital pass that Donny has to go for and he gets a yellow card. Would you let Zidane enter you? What? Panam? That's disgusting. God, he spent $10 to be rude. Panam obviously would. Oh, Sancho's having a lie down. It's one of them free kicks. Look again. Wow. At least it's half time soon. Strumming my pain with my fingers. Not with his words. Killing me soft. Over the bar. Yeah. With his songs. Have you ever not blamed McTominay for something, says Robert. Robert, have you ever not lived up McTominay's arse about everything? Like, I can only... What do you want me to say? He's rubbish. He's absolutely rubbish. What do you want me to say? And He's just played a stupid pass that Donny has to go for the tackle because it's on the edge of the box and he gets booked. Can you name a manager with less inspiring voice than Michael Carrick in the Premier League? And if anyone needs inspiring, it's this United team, it's Michael Nelson. It's like that episode of Father Ted, the Christmas special, and they're in the department store, all the priests, and they need to get out, and they're like they get hold of the intercom to try and get people to go to a different bit, and Father Ted says, "Who's got a really inspiring voice that we can use?" And then somebody walks forward and says, "Ted, did you want someone with a really boring voice?" And he said, "No, I want someone with a really enthusiastic voice." Well, Michael Carrick has got a very boring voice. Watch the overlap. Why didn't he go for the overlap? Oh, that was very lucky. That was very lucky for United. It's a corner, but the left back had made a great run. And luckily, this Villareal player is greedy. Watch this back. Fred's gone down again. Look, that left back's made a great run there. I think Wan-Bissaka had seen the run, to be fair. Strumming my pain. Mark, I'm heading to Mackey's. What should I order? Says Mike. I'm not reading your surname. And would have gladly guided. Oh, God. What? You've all gone very sexual for an early Tuesday evening. Have you got Carrick's number? Says Shadow. No, he's blocked. And Mark, cross comes in, cleared away. Mark, can you say come on the town for Dundalk? Well, I just did. McTominay is a naff player at centre-back for Scotland. Couldn't tackle a worm, says Jonathan Matthews. And McTominay's playing Cam for Villarreal. Man of the match performance, says Jimmy M. Look, let's be fair to Robert McCormack and his McTominay fan club. I don't think he's been the worst player on the pitch. He was at fault for that yellow card for Donny, but Donny's not been very good. Fred's been shit. Sancho and Martial have been quiet. Tellez has been poor. I mean, the centre-backs have been okay, and Ronaldo's put a shift in, but it's not been great. Didn't catch your answer to Panam Sidang question. Obviously not, Mr. Nobody. Just came back from training. How are we playing? Go back to training, NYYK. And I don't believe that this was the strategy Carrick was talking about in the press conference. Looks like we have 10 Maguires playing, says Arch285. Bullshit. This is crap. Some in my pain with its... Oh, God, I don't know why I've got the Fugees in my head. It's better than where Panam wants Zidane, though. McTominay. Oh, God. What are we doing? What are we doing? That again comes from McTominay playing a stupid pass. It's bloody dreadful. It's awful. I'm not even joking. It's absolutely crap. McTominay does some stupid pass to Wan-Bissaka, who then decides to take somebody on. I mean, Wan-Bissaka's now just joined the crap club. I think the only three players that you could say have been relatively not crap is Ronaldo, Lindelof, and Maguire, because they haven't really made any big mistakes. Bloody hell. Minute added on. Vicky James, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you for joining. Give McTominay a break. Fine margins, says Alligator. Just remember, a draw is not a bad result. I think the ref's going to blow up. And he does. It's because I said killing Cavani would be good, says Samir. And the style of play reflects the personality of the coaches. Ollie, no aggression. Carrick is boring, says Yakov. Okay, let me just put a tweet out. I mean, look, all jokes aside, let's just be absolutely honest here. As a fan base, we've never been in such a bad situation. It's a bloody joke. I mean, look, obviously there will be some fans out there that remember the 70s when we got relegated. I don't remember that. I was very young in the 80s, so I don't really remember much about that. This is the worst we've been in a long time. And, we're playing crap football. There's no passion. There's no style of play. There's no identity. And, the thing that bothers me the most is we need a new coach yesterday. This is what I was moaning about on Sunday. This is what Paul Scholes was moaning about before the game. It's an embarrassment that these coaches are now in charge of the club. Michael Carrick, Fletcher, Phelan, McKenna. I said this would be the problem. For the players, that's not a change. You know, going in on a Monday morning and saying, oh, everybody try a bit harder now. You're the same coach as we had on Friday. I know, but look, I've done my hair different. Call me Michael Carrico. And here's my assistant coach, Felinio. Mike Phelan. No, he's called Felinio now. And I'm Mikel Carrico. And here is Kiriano McKennio. You know, it's like, no, you're not. You're the same people. You've just put your gel on differently and worn a different jacket. You're the same people. And we've just seen that in the first 45 minutes. First 3 minutes, a bit of a press. And that's it. That is it. There's no enthusiasm. There's no idea. I mean, McFred, I'm bored of it. I'm just going to say McFred shit. Like, they are such a problem in that team. And whoever the next manager is, they're going to have to drill them properly. Not like that. They're going to have to drill them in training. Not like that. Double time. They're going to have to work overtime because they're so bad. But we don't really have anybody else. Oh, I've spent £74 million on Sancho. Oh, I spent £80 million on Harry Maguire and £50 million on Wan-Bissaka. And you've neglected the most important area on the pitch. The midfield is a disaster area for United. Donny van der Beek's got a yellow card because of McTominay. You know, Fred's all over the bloody place. They're just a shambles, and every team gets hold of the game because of them. But in fairness to them, every player needs a clean start, and that is not a clean start. If I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sat at home, he must feel like he's got superpowers, because he probably like, oh, here I am. I don't know what's going on. I'm sat here in Norway, but I'm also sat on the bench in Villarreal. How am I doing that? Because that's Ollie ball. But as we know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got sacked as a coach, but he wasn't the coach. He was 25% of a management team, and 75% of it is still there. And that first half performance was absolutely shit. They may as well have kept Solskjaer. That is exactly what we've been seeing for the last few weeks. They've got to change it because Chelsea are going to destroy us. Chelsea are going to absolutely batter us on Sunday. I think it's unavoidable at this point. If I was a new manager, I wouldn't want that job before Sunday. We're going to get absolutely fucked up, big time, absolutely battered. Like, we're dreadful. We're absolutely dreadful. And I blame the Glazers and I blame Ed Woodward because we're in a big, big mess. People like Cristiano Ronaldo are just a shadow of themselves because they're playing in a crap team. There's no confidence in the team. They need a bounce. They need a change of scenery. They need a bloody holiday, most of them, a permanent holiday, but it's awful. And look, remember, a draw gets us through. And let's hope we can get a draw or nick a goal. But whatever happens in this game, we score a goal, we'll park the bus. Like, it's going to be a crap performance. So we may as well hope we get the result. But, you know, that's gone. Whatever we were hoping about, let's hope we get a good result. It's gone. Jazz says, Wan-Bissaka, Fred and McTominay are the problem. No manager can improve this team. Sounds bad, but when I saw Fred go down, I was like, yes, but then he stood up, says Apollo. It's only been a day since Ollie left. Why do you expect wholesale changes today, says Scarecrow? Mate, you're thick. Sorry, I don't want to be offensive, and I realise I just have been, but what are you talking about? It's only been a day since he left, and you expect change. It's the same coaching staff, you prat. It's not a new coaching setup. If that's Pochettino and his coaches, yeah, they need time. That's the same prats we've had for 3 years. That's why there's no change. Have you seen the training we do? Warm up and game, no tactical drill, same as my Sunday league team, says Rajni. A team with structure and a team with not a single clue, says Zhao. And ego and unseen moral obligations comes to play while your mate's your boss. You can't expect Carrick to do anything significant. And yes, Wan-Bissaka and McFred can be pressed very easily due to his poor ball keeping, says Jazz. The only players worth their penny in the first half are Donny and Sancho, says Keir. But it's not the sort of game for them, is it? I mean, a lot of people will say, how's Donny done in that first half? How's Sancho done in that half? They're playing in a game that's not suitable to them because we're not keeping hold of the ball. You know what? Bruno Fernandes looked really upset that he'd been benched. If I was Bruno Fernandes, I'd have the biggest smile on my face. I'd be like, I'm playing against Chelsea, aren't I, Carrick? DM me. Don't fucking speak to me. Just DM me because you're picking me on Sunday, aren't you? Let's be honest, you are. I'll be on the plane home. See you later. You know, Rashford and Bruno will be sat there going, This is your big plan, was it? That's backfired, but at least I'm not part of it because Bruno and Rashford would be having a shit game as well. Seems like Carrick is playing Mourinho football by parking the bus. Only player that looks decent are Van der Beek and Sancho, says Sean. And also, we should buy Weston McKennie, says Parker. And worried for Sunday, Kante can do the midfield on his own, and Chilwell and James will have too much space, cause wingers won't track, says Ross. And I think I might be right in saying this, but I think Lukaku might be back for the weekend. I mean, whether he's back or not, they've still got players that will score goals against us. But yeah, Levin's just messaged me. He said, and I agree. He says, next manager has an unreasonable amount to do. Bloody hell. It's not changing quick, mate. It's not changing quick. And this is what I'm, this is, look, I get the sentimentality at the weekend. I get the sentimentality about, Ollie crying and everyone's like, oh, this, that, and the other. But you know why? For me, I was like, because I'm thinking about football. I'm thinking about Manchester United. And for all Ollie being upset and everything like that, we're in a fucking mess. Like, we're in a really big mess. The neglect of the midfield is going to cause us so many problems for the future manager. New manager comes in, he can't buy any midfielders, probably till the summer. I mean, that's why a manager's thinking, I don't want the job until the summer, because I can see that I can't do anything until the summer. It's not like Chelsea. Tuchel takes over Chelsea and goes, it's my birthday, going to dance around like it's my birthday. He's going to love it because he's like, I've got 3 good players in every position. Happy days, Champions League. You come into United and you're like, well, yeah, you've got Ronaldo, you've got Sancho, you've got Rashford, you've got Bruno, you've got no bloody midfield though, have you? You've not even got anyone in the youth that can use. And you haven't even got anybody that can just make as a CDM. Crying out for a CDM. So, it's a very difficult job for somebody to come in and turn around. And I hope somebody takes it and takes it soon, but it's a very difficult job. Looks like Charlie's hiding in the laundry basket like Mourinho when Chelsea played Bayern, says Philippe. And Poch doesn't want the Chelsea match after labelling them a defensive team. It could come back to haunt him, says Mac. And our captain couldn't motivate a starving man to eat. Let one Man United, says Bakker. Yeah, it's very interesting to think about how it might go. But look, this is just one area that people don't talk about when they talk about the management of Solskjaer and Carrick and everyone like that, is they've spent more money than Mourinho and Van Gaal and Moyes did. They've spent it badly. They have spent it badly. I think some of the players they bought were good players, but, when you're building a team, you must always do it in a way that is balanced. That too many attackers, defense is probably about right. You know what United are like? They're like bloody Goldilocks. Oh, this porridge is too cold. This porridge is too hot. This one's just right. Oh, this bed's too lumpy. Oh, this bed's too small. This bed's just about right. And then they do something else. Oh, Goldilocks walks out onto the back garden where Man United are. Oh, this midfield this midfield is shit. This attack is amazing. And this defence is just about right. And that's it. That's Manchester United. We've got too many attackers, not enough midfielders, and the defence is just about right balanced. But we should have done that across the whole team. No use of getting a new permanent interim manager until something is done about this coaching staff, says Kivel. And Matic in for Fred. Please break the McFred bond, please. Also, Cavani in for Martial and Bruno in for disappointment, says Ronald Jacob. Poch in the chat. Goldilocks FC. That's what I'm going to call us from now on, because the midfield is going to be a big problem. Anyway, can I just say big shout out to Manscaped, who are sponsoring the show. Got 2 of their products here. You can get 25% off and free shipping worldwide. It's also fantastic products. This one's for down there. This one's for your nose. They also do 2-for-1s and all that jazz. But fantastic products. They do ship worldwide, and you can get 25% off through the link in the video description. Trim your grass to make your yard look bigger. And this is for those who are around my age who want to get rid of some nasal hair. Very good. Takes a few seconds and stops you being in a pub and, and you go to get a drink and you've got nasal hair in it. So that's fantastic. Let's hope United can show a bit of balls in the second half. What I would say is that we could still win this game 1-0 because Villarreal are not very clinical. So we could win this game. I think the most important thing out of this game is that we don't lose it. Because I will lose it if we lose this game. We cannot end up in the Europa League. And on a serious note, there's been a lot of banter because, you know, Ollie's gone and we've still got the crap coaches and we hope it's going to change, but it's like it's the same old shit. I get all of that. Of course I do. But look, remember, if we lose this 1-0, we're probably going out because Villarreal would then be above us if we finish on 10 points with them. And if Atalanta beat Villarreal in Italy, which they probably would, we're in the Europa League. So as all jokes aside, we cannot concede a goal. We've got to get the draw or nick a win. A draw is not enough to secure advancement, though. It will be, Louis. It will. If we draw and beat Young Boys, we'll go through. And we will beat Young Boys because by then we should have a bloody new coach. Sorry if you talked about this before, but it's mentioned in Norwegian newspaper that Zidane is open to take over PSG and Pochettino United. I hope so, Per-Erik Klassen. Can you call my friend Graham a prat, says Nelson. Martial plays like his legs are glued together, says Too Stiff, says Jazz. And Mark, how does a draw get us through? Say we draw today, Atalanta win today, all on 8 points. If we lose next game, Villarreal. No, yeah, but we're playing Young Boys, Roro. I mean, yeah, we are assuming we'll win that at Old Trafford. Poch doesn't want the Chelsea match. Okay. Are you still here, Drawty? You're going to hear the dulcet tones or dull tones, as I would call them.
I have to listen to you.
Drawty, just for I just take a wee break. He's going to read out some hashtag Ask Goldbridge, and I'll be back in 60 seconds. He'll also read the super chats. He can multitask. I'll see you in a moment.
You're trusting me here. Well done.
I shot the sheriff.
Oh, for God's sake. Just have your piss. Okay, so hashtag Ask Goldbridge over on Twitter. Get them in and we will read them out on screen right now. There's a couple of them coming in. So first one coming in is from... That's not really a name, but we'll put it up on screen anyway. Hashtag Ask Goldbridge. Hey, Mark, who to come on after halftime? What is anyone going to make a difference at the moment? We're not exactly playing particularly well. Let's be honest, guys, nothing's changed. You know, even Donny in the number 10 position, nothing's really changed in this game. Until we change the coaches, this is going to be the pattern of play, unfortunately. In the chat, we've got, I can't see any change. We know what's the problem, says top up. Please, Ronaldo, stop taking free kicks, says Onok Passa. Play De Gea at CDM. Jaden, please, let's not do that. Also, we've got Delo for Wan-Bissaka. Interesting, Ricky. Not too sure if that is going to make a difference in this half. Although Delo is miles better on the attacking front than Wan-Bissaka. Got a couple of balls into the box. But again, you know, even if we've got the delivery, Ronaldo's not finishing at the moment. Jamie says standards are so flipping low. Again, on hashtag Ask Goldbridge. Let's get one from John. John says, Mark, have you discussed how the transfer committee structure at United with vetoes on signings for the manager and board members, such as Woodward, might detract from managers looking to take the job as it would give them less power and say RE transfers? To be honest with you at the moment, John, when it comes to transfers and Manchester United, it is Pochettino's got to fit into this new. Oh, here he comes. Pochettino's got to fit into this, and I think he's the right kind of manager. United is still going to do the transfers for them. Oh, great! Good timing.
Toilet break. Goldbridge back shortly. I like that.
Otherwise, everyone just goes.
Yes. Brendan Rodgers is their top manager, in my opinion. Would you take him? Oh God, I'm not. I'm not reading. Look, no. When are we doing Draughty face reveals, says Scarecrow? When we hit 2 million subs. Thanks to Draughty for filling in anyway. There seems to be a lot of people filling in tonight or want filling in. Would you take this if this happened? Ollie wasn't the only problem. If we don't have CDM, why the hell is Carrick playing the infamous McFred? Slot Donny, Bruno and Mata as midfield 3, says Sabatashi. And I'm sick and tired of Maguire taking so long in our final third. He's putting so much pressure on the back four. He does it every game, says Ross. Thanks for all the super chats. A big shout out to Manscaped. Like I said, 25% off, free worldwide shipping. Christmas is coming, you know, might want to make an effort. Lots of relationships break up just before Christmas. Might be the time to take care of your grooming. 25% off. Don't tell I didn't warn you. Links in the video description. I'm actually, a lot of people also on the flip side, a lot of people try to get into relationships at Christmas because they want Christmas presents. And on that bombshell, the second half's about to kick off. Let's hope something kicks off a little bit. They need to change that camera angle. It's crap. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Very close to 220,000. Very welcome. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 o'clock. I was Paul Ince this morning. He's on every week. Was talking this morning. Good old chat with Incey. And previews, live reaction news. You know, hopefully we're getting a manager soon. We've just kicked off second half. I'm on 45 minutes and 30 seconds. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Do you get that, Drawty? I don't know where he is now. Donny has so much more to his game than being a number 10, says Graham. Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Okay. 46 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Would you rather have finger-sized legs or leg-sized fingers? Says Latifa. This is what United are doing to the fan base. This is what they're doing. They're making people ask questions that should never be asked. I mean, I think there's always effort from Manchester United. For me, it's never about lack of effort. It's just lack of ability. By not getting rid of Ollie and the coaching staff over the international break, Ed and the Glazers have put us at huge risk of ending in the Europa League and losing players next year, says Oscar. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. I need some notes for the after-match reaction, actually. Carrick's at the wheel. I think United need to be very careful because if they go 1-0 down, I think the heads will drop even further. Would you look to replace Ronaldo when he retires or leaves, says Valabah? Who would you look to replace Ronaldo when he leaves, says Vabath? I'm still hopeful. I still like Greenwood, but what have these leeches turned our club into? We are even scared to play for low-level teams. Oh, my days. Thank God for Sir Alex days. I can live with them for the rest of my life, says John. You know what? I just find it unbelievable that we've got such a good players on paper and then we're crap. Ultimately, until we get a change, these players are not going to get a boost. They just look devoid of ideas, and they look lost. I had some soup for dinner. It was delicious. Tomato, of course, with bread, roll to go with. I'm thinking meatballs tomorrow, but possibly a chicken Kiev, says David. It's more interesting than that first half. Greetings from Florida. Do you agree with Gary Neville that City is creating a cloning academy of its top players? And do you see United creating a new class of 92? No. They're out who plays Dangan, I don't. Imagine Ollie watching this at home and thinking this is shite. That would be hilarious, as Ethan talked. I was actually thinking about that in the first half. What would Ollie think about that? What would Ollie think about this? Because he said he'd be watching, and I think he'd probably be quite happy with it. Because it's only the way we've been playing for the last year. I think Ollie's probably the only one who's pleased with this. Who is most similar to Roy Keane in the Premier League today, Mark? Says Gertchen. They don't really make him like that anymore. Would you end? Not reading that. Hi, Mark. Wanted to thank you helping me invent the position, the United stand with the wife. I say Ollie in, Ollie out as I go in and out. Thanks, Jet. And do you think Ollie wants us to lose today just for his image? Says, hey, babes. I think Ollie be quite happy with this performance. Of course, the thing for United is if we keep a clean sheet, it's a good point. What's your Domino's order, Mark? Says Brandon. I like something with pineapple on it. So, yeah, having what are they doing? They're having a dance, the Villareal players. They look like having a bit of a dance. Come on, everybody. Say, come on, everybody. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Let's twist again like we did last summer. Ollie probably watching with a nice Vindaloo, says Derby Jack. And so leg-sized fingers, right? Surely you're not a finger-sized leg man, Mark, says Derby Jack. I don't know what you're on about. That's going to get clipped, that Villarreal thing. Oh, lucky. They were 3v2 there. I think Chelsea will absolutely annihilate us, Steve, because they've got a system and they've got better players than Villarreal. So Villarreal with better players would have beat us by now. But, you know, when you look at the two teams on paper, we've got the better team on paper. But they're the better coach side again. Mark, we seen you in the Batman suit, says Benz. Chris, thanks very much for the chat, super chat there. Apparently Mount's not playing for Chelsea. That's not necessarily a problem, though. They've got Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Havertz. United's way of playing is the equivalent of elevator music. It's so boring, says Maldini. Hey, actually, that's some good play between Fred and Martial and Tellez. But good interception by Torres. Best bit of play all game, that. 52 minutes. I just want to enjoy watching Manchester United, says Jack Brown. Have we actually had a shot on goal? Have we had anyone? Have we had a shot on goal? I don't remember making their keeper make a save. I will tell you now. There's Sancho. Good bit of skill. Oh, there we go. Fred must have heard me. He must have heard me. He's just had a shot on goal. It was never going to go in a million years, but edge of the box, on target. Give him a bonus. Ronaldo had a header, yeah. I can imagine Ollie at home now, flicking Pringles into his mouth, tears in his eye at how wonderful a job Carrick is doing tonight, says Nick P. Tuchel is going to see this game and realise he can rest Jorginho and Kante on Sunday, says Iz. And greetings from Utah and USA. Keep up the good work, Mark. United better win this, says Isaac. Villarreal in the box. The captaincy is a problem. Why do we have good quality senior players, De Gea, Ronaldo, yet we go to a mid-20s balloon with no experience at playing for a top club that is useful as a wet sock, says Xtos. And Mark, what will happen to the current coaching team if a new manager comes in? Would they even be allowed to bring in their own coaching team? They have to, KB, because You know, you could put Pep Guardiola in charge, but if he's got these coaches, he's got no chance, has he? I mean, we could win this game, you know. And people are going to laugh at me, but we could win this game because at some point, Villarreal have really got to try and win it. And that might leave us a chance on the break. Love this content, mate, all the way from New Zealand, says Brad. It'll be Donny for Bruno, by the way. That's going to happen soon. Wonder how Ollie would have done with better coaches. Do the manager reflects the coaches or vice versa, says Chris? Well, the best setup is Klopp and Pep, who, you know, their coaches reflect them. That's, you know, it should be an equal split, really. It shouldn't be. Otherwise, it doesn't work, does it? Because you're basically saying if Ollie had better coaches, he'd be a good manager. That, well, you know, a good manager would have better coaches. So Capoue bossing it again. Do you remember when it was a choice between Torres and Maguire and we went for Maguire, says Karim? No. I thought it was Torres and Varane. Never seen Phil Jones and Batman in the same room, says Captain Hindsight. And Ollie's exit interview, when Carrick's name was mentioned, he got emotional. I think he felt he was stabbed in the back and he composed himself and said, love Carrick to bits. They will be fine, says John. I can play better than Fred. All he does is pass the ball backwards to whoever passes it to him, says Jazz. And why on earth are we playing on a Sunday at 4:30 when both us and Chelsea play tonight? It's shocking. May as well be in the Farmers' Cup, says Jonathan. It gives us an extra time to train. We can at least Carrick can say on Friday we've had a good week. Maguire is captain for branding, 80 million in English, says Stuart Bates. Do. That's gone out for a throw-in. Fred or Capoue? You having a laugh, Darlo? I mean, Capoue's been the best midfielder in both games we've played Villarreal by a very long way. Like, miles better. Like, I mean, if I didn't realise how shit McTominay and Fred were, and I actually thought they were good, I'd be like, sign Capoue. He's so much better than them. But, I mean, Capoue's not brilliant. He's just, you know, like most midfielders. Tom Cleverley stood out for Watford at the weekend against this too. Like, most teams win the midfield battle against us apart from Leeds. I missed the days before the season started and we thought we'd be good. How quickly we learned that we are the same. Ollie, McFred and Magaluf. It's Michael Fetty. But, you know, I said it at the end of last season. I did say that if Manchester United pick, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer keeps picking McFred this season, I'll be Ollie out. Well, I was Ollie out and he's gone. You know, they're absolutely upset. What a ball that is by Pau Torres. I don't know whether it's going to lead to anything, but it's absolutely brilliant. What a save by De Gea. Oh, he's unbelievable. Give him the Ballon d'Or. He's just unbelievable. David De Gea again. He's just world class. Magnificent save. You know, if we didn't have David De Gea this season, we wouldn't be anything. He's a world-class save. He's made 2 world-class saves today. Magnificent save. World-class. I mean, it reminds me of United under Van Gaal when we went really shit and David De Gea was winning Player of the Year every year. It's not a good thing. I don't want David De Gea making saves like that. I don't want David De Gea being Player of the Year. But at the moment, he's going to be, you know, pardon the pun, but he's going to be hands down Player of the Year. Why won't United have to pay the Poch fee next summer too? Why don't they pay now, says Usman? Yeah, it will be the same fee in the summer. You're right. You're all right. Good point. Well made. Feels like we are playing for a 0-0 here. Dangerous. Got to attack more than this, says Mr. Dan United. I don't think we are playing for a 0-0. I think that'll be the get out that we played for a draw, but I don't think we are playing for a 0-0. Because it's only luck that it is 0-0. It's not been a good defensive performance from United. It's just been another crap performance. Rashford's warming up. Well, we can hit a few long balls now, can't we? What a Dave, says Utshop, and DDDGG for Ballon d'Or, keeping our dead club alive, says Sumi. And so frustrating. Can the board not see this is the same team of idiot coaching staff that's ruined us? Get them as far away as possible and get Poch, says Eduardo. The thing is, I think some people were thinking we might turn up tonight and play some great football and then, Carrick's at the wheel bullshit. It was never going to happen. I knew it was never going to happen when Carrick said yesterday, I've got the same principles as Ollie and we've worked very closely. I knew, I suspected he'd pick McFred. I knew he'd pick Maguire. I knew we'd be bloody boring. And even if we do manage to get a result here, maybe a win or a draw, it's not been very interesting. It's not going to set the world on fire, is it? And then Chelsea are going to beat us on Sunday. So the Carrick reign is not going to be an interim that's going to be one that's going to even get near to... it's a mismatch. You've got Emery on the side and you've got Carrick on the side. I'd liken that to, you're on the pitch and, someone's trying to get you to marry them and there's Margot Robbie waving at you and there's a bloody Ford Cortina. If you know, you know. Will Donny get substituted for Bruno soon then? Yeah, that's coming. Salah Ahmed, that is coming. Bruno! He's not on yet. I'm trying to stay awake for the bake-off here. You know what? Don't start picking on Martial. He's not played well, but it's not... Sancho's not played well. Ronaldo's... I forgot Ronaldo's here. Like, Donny's the same. The front four on paper don't look bad, but they're going to... any front four in front of that back six is screwed, really. They're playing like Burnley. Would be nice to see some energy on the sidelines, not saying you have to jump about all game, but show life and give out some tactical instructions. Yeah, the trouble with Carrick is he's got less life in him as a personality than Carrick. Oh, another chance over the bar. Lindelof and Varane, best centre-back partnership we have, says Mark Jones. I'm not a big fan of Lindelof, Mark, to be honest. Welcome to the Members Club, Extos. And Mark, have you heard that Ollie donated his 700 million? No, he didn't. I wouldn't start putting that propaganda out, Martin, that he's donated 7.5 million to charity. Somebody from our channel put it in our group chat, and I was like, well, where's this coming from? Like, where's the source? And it's just a tweet from somebody. It's, that's not... I wouldn't start believing that until it comes from somewhere decent. How is it not obvious to take off McFred, move Donny Matic to the midfield and Bruno up front? How does Carrick not see this? Because he's not seen it for a year, mate, Raven. Like, Carrick is Ollie, and Ollie is Carrick. They're the same thing. Do I think we'll lose this game? I think it's one of those where, I don't want to sound like Michael Owen, but it's one of those games that could end up a draw or one team could nick it. As I say, I think Villarreal have been the better footballing side, but they're not very clinical. And the longer it goes on, I suppose at some point, someone's going to get a big chance. Is Carrick even more boring than Milner, says Ronaldo? The thing is, I loved Michael Carrick as a footballer. Absolutely loved him. But off the pitch, like, his interviews were boring. This game is so exciting. What's your favourite bake-off cake, Mark? Says Chris Chisholm. I don't really know, mate. I quite like watching the Bake Off. I always have. I don't know why. It's just something about it. Capoue, nice little ball. Oh, win it back. Go on, Sancho. That's a foul. Oh, he's played it on. And there's another corner. We didn't pay Southampton asking price for Van Dijk and then overpaid Leicester due to Ollie sack. I hope Woodward doesn't extend his stay. Woodward out with coaches, says Abbas. I've just tweeted Woodward out. Here comes Bruno and Rashford. So dropping them worked. Bloody hell. I'd come on with a smile on my face. But yeah, Donny for Bruno. I told you. I bloody told you. Absolute waste of time. Absolute waste of time. And Martial for Rashford. It's just, this is Ollie tactics. So Donny, man of the match. My tweet says it all. If you want to put it up on the screen. Vacuum in the middle of the pitch in Man United's team. And remember all those stories a month ago where the coaches were upset that their tactics were being criticised because they are actually really good, says Andrew O'Brien. McFred could survive the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I said it a few minutes ago. Donny van der Beek is going to get subbed off. He's playing as a number 10. There's nothing going on. And Bruno's not going to have a good half either. It's a shit place to play for United. He was man of the match against Watford. Playing in McTominay's role, he gets a start in the number 10 role, and then he gets subbed off for Bruno. It's just predictable, absolutely predictable. Coaches ruining careers as per usual at Manchester United. Markets like the blind leading the blind. What a load of crap, says Tracy. And Ronaldo's left shoe. Thank you very much for joining the members club. Look, on a serious note, though, as much as this has been crap, let's not get sadistic. We can't afford to bloody lose. Don't be thinking we deserve to lose. I hope we lose. Bullshit like that. If we lose this game, especially 1-0, I can see us ending up in the bloody in the Europa. So we've got to not get beat. If Valverde came in as an interim, would that mean he'd be forced to have the current coaching setup? Yeah, well, this is the thing, Noah. Like, as I said, it's a coach and his coaching setup is like bringing in a Ferrari, isn't it? If you bring in a coach and then tell them that they've got to use McKenna and Carrick, that's like taking that driver and putting him in a mini metro. Like, it's a coaching setup. Will we see you on Sing Your Dialect tonight, Mark, says BMNT? It's a late show, that is. I might pop in, but they'll never get picked. Terrible first touch by Rashford there. He was in. The old long ball over the top routine. What the fuck was it that McSauce offers that this coaching staff sees and nobody does, says Philman. He was offside anyway. He was miles off. What's your favourite melon? Watermelon, honey melon, winter melon, snap melon, or a melon? Mine has to be honey melon. I don't like melon, my big melons. I find it quite bland. Zayn Miassi saying goal. I don't know what he's on about. Because there's no goal here, Zayn. I don't know what match you're watching. It can't be an Arsenal one because you don't play in Europe this year. Well, we seem, the substitution seems to have pushed us a little bit higher up the pitch. Oh, look at McTominay. You'll get 10 games for that. Little flick. Hit it, Rashford. Tellez. Mm. $20 minutes to go. The substitutions seem to have pushed us higher up the pitch. I would say that we've not been playing on in their half all game. Onion rings or curly fries? I like them both, Emily, actually. Good question. I had issues with my cable, says Ronnie, the first half. How has the match been? Some summary, please. Tactics, setup, changes from past regime. Ronnie, that's the easiest answer I've ever had to do. Just think Ollie and then think what's happened tonight. It's basically been the same. Oh, that would have been a really good goal. Sancho 1-2 with Bruno. Nearly a great goal. Just shows you what they can do. Any update on the Pineapple Man in Mallorca, says Michael Kim. Well, it's like, you know, to be fair, it's like a different United the last couple of minutes. We've just suddenly on the front foot. Oh, that's crap by McTominay. He's absolutely shit. He really is. Good win by Wan-Bissaka there. Nice by Sancho into Bruno. Thoughts on Sancho? First half, he was getting into game, decent areas, but not giving the ball. I think when you give him the ball, Hugh, Ronaldo's not happy. I'll tell you what, I've barely noticed Ronaldo second half. So I don't want people giving him an 8 out of 10. He's been bloody invisible man because he's in the graveyard shift. I tell you what, that's a good save by their keeper. That deserved a goal. It was lovely play. You talk about being alone, sitting here by the phone, waiting for my memories to come and play. Substitution for Villarreal. I'm tired of not sitting there, rocking in your rocking chair. It's all too much for me to take when you're not there. I'm older than I wish. Can you get Levin on to play some rock, paper, scissors or something, says Joshua Bowater. We could play it. I don't know who wins, but you do. Hi, Mark. How do you think we can get the best out of Sancho to give him the spark so we can see the Sancho? We get him the ball, Mr. Dan United. That's it. You know, give Sancho the ball in the final third, and Chukwueze's come on for them. Just coming back. Chukwueze got injured in the semi-final of the Europa League against Arsenal back in what was probably late April, early May. He's only just getting back from injury now. Good player. Probably won't be anywhere near match fit if you think about Rashford. We've definitely decided to press higher up the pitch. Definitely. Might be a goal here. Should have done this from minute 1. Oh. Please get McTominay off. He is so crap. He's not even good enough to play in a kindergarten team for my nephew, says Victor. And in the state you're in, my man, your entire post-reaction video can just be you sleeping. Our game seems to be making your eyes droop, says Ronaldo. Yeah, I do feel quite tired. Ralph Rangnick would be perfect for this lazy squad, says Wayne Rooney. And what's Carrick wearing? He looks like a school kid, says Connor. Zidane hasn't signed for anybody. I mean, people are just getting bored in the chat, I think. Handball. 15 minutes to go. Player ratings. I bet player ratings already, actually. Let me just double check. Yes, Jamie. Cheers, mate. So you can mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average, for the player ratings, which we do as part of the match reaction show. So I'm going to drop the link in the video description, but the you can just go straight to unitedstand.com if you want, but I will be dropping it in the video description where it says player ratings. You'll soon see a link. It was always going to be difficult for Villarreal, I think, to win tonight because they just don't score many goals. They're below mid-table in La Liga. Like, they're normally way better than that, but they just don't score goals. The problem with Villarreal is they're a good team, but they've got no cutting edge. And this has been their problem for quite a while. Links in the video description now, player ratings. I quite fancy United to win this, you know. Call me an idiot, but since we've made the substitutions, we're playing a lot higher up the pitch. And maybe Villarreal are getting a bit tired. You know? I think also Bruno comes on and starts dictating the play. It's very obvious what happens there. Telling people to move the ball quicker, etc., etc. But to be fair, Villarreal, in all honesty, Villarreal have probably also decided to play a little bit deeper because Rashford's come on, so they don't want to get hit by the long ball. So it's a combination of the two, I would say. McT is just awful facts, says Joseph. I don't think Ollie has donated £7.5 million to charity. Anyway, why are people still talking about Ollie? What he does with his money is up to him. He's been sacked. He's not the manager of Man United anymore. And why people keep talking about him. Do you think that the players get nervous because of Ronaldo's standards? No, it's the crap tactics, Jed. Lovely bit of rocking chair, Mark. What's your favourite Oasis album? Says Jordan. I actually do like the Master Plan. I know it's not really an album because it's B-sides, but oh, Sue! Manchester United 1-0. Mr. Champions League. That'll do. No Europa League football for us tonight. A keeping error from Villarreal. It's a gift. It's a Champions League gift for Manchester United. And that'll do nicely. 1-0 to Manchester United. And Sue delivers in an absolutely shit Manchester United performance. But Sue delivers. And Manchester United, no Europa League for us. That's all it's about. Get in. That'll do. It's shocking by Villarreal, actually. It's the keeper makes a right bad pass and Ronaldo's just got a tap in. Well, not a tap in. It's a tap in for Ronaldo, but basically keeper knocks it out. It's a hospital pass. Fred intercepts it, and then Ronaldo just has to dink it over the keeper. Probably not what Villarreal deserve, to be fair, but we deserve it as fans because we don't want to be in no bloody Europa League. Aaron Wan-Bissaka playing well tonight because he's playing with a natural right winger. It's called balance. Why the commentator's surprised, says Sean Turner. Lovely. Okay, thank you very much. So no Europa League again because Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo and his Mrs. Sue have took us out of a difficult situation again. United have been crap tonight. Absolutely crap. And it's Ronaldo again who delivers it. 12 minutes to go. I told you, though. I did tell you. I said it. I said Villarreal's big problem is they're a good footballing side. It's like, effectively, this game is this. crap football side with Ronaldo plays good football side without Ronaldo. And the crap football side wins because it's got Ronaldo, and the good football team doesn't win because they haven't got a cutting edge. Simple as that. Hello and goodbye to Thursday Night Football, says Nordson. No, I think people are being ironic about Carrick. This is one of the worst performances we've had of the season. Fred created that, signed the contract. Big boy signed the contract, if you know, says Xtos. And if anyone plays Ultimate Team, Chong just got an 88 rated card, says Jimmy Garner. And he's injured for the season as well. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner to do that. Player ratings, link in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. I probably would have given Ronaldo a 3. But he scored, so he's done his job, hasn't he? Moments FC, says Lee Taylor. I've got a corner here. Nice ball out to Tellez. Keeper's got that one. Talk about being alone. Thogden and Sharkey would be a better midfield than McFred, to be honest, is HTD. And give Carrick a 5-year contract, says Udit. Oh, God, really hurt me arm. I mean, look, for me, the main thing is that we get the result, you know. And I think that the substitution, I need to mention this, the substitutions changed the game. Carrick must get 100% win rate, says Robert McCormack. And I think Sancho has been great tonight. Weird, it's the first time we gave him 90 minutes on the right. He needs more and more games, 50 cuffs. That's what he needs. Masterclass assist by Fred. A tackle. That'll do for Fred. It's the best way he's going to get an assist, a tackle. Jenks. Over the bar from Villareal. Yeah, I think with Sancho, he needs consistent games off the right, funnily enough. So God, look at have you seen the United bench? It's like they've won the bloody World Cup. McKenna's having a bloody fit. He's going like, fuck off, fuck off. It's like, you know, I know it's nice for them, but it's like Scholes said, I'm going to call that out. That bench is a bloody embarrassment. They're celebrating like we've won the World Cup. You've just got somebody sacked at the weekend. We've played absolutely shit. Most United fans are asleep, and we score a bit of a lucky breakaway goal, and you're celebrating like it's a master plan. This is the level of this bloody football club now because of these absolute useless players, managers. Oh, he's missed. Could have been 2. Ronaldo nearly again. Thoughts on Wan-Bissaka? Is he regressing or is he just being found out? Always looks shaky, as do all the back four, says Kieran Bird. Well, a lot of people feel that Wan-Bissaka's done well tonight. This is better than 99. Contract on the table, says Ivan. And since we like ex-players as managers so much, I think Makeda would be good, says it. But we're getting battered on Sunday, by the way. I'll tell you right here, right now, I'll be stunned if we don't get humiliated on Sunday. You can't, you can mask a crap performance with a Ronaldo moment in a game against Villarreal who don't score many goals. We won't get away with playing like this against Chelsea. They'll absolutely destroy us. Here's Rashford. Good save by the keeper. I mean, we're just hitting them on the break now because they're having to attack. The only conclusion from tonight's game is that Villarreal are a worse team than Watford, says Simon. And Captain Planet says Ronaldo moment. Well, it was a Ronaldo moment. It was a mistake at the back, and he had a tap in, really. It was greedy by Rashford, Cliff. He should have been passing that to someone else, but this is the problem with Rashford and Greenwood. They've not been coached how to look up, so they just think about shooting. Still 5 minutes to go. United looking more and more likely to get the second goal here because Villarreal are having to go for it. So their organisation has disappeared. Tell you what, Tellez's corners have been very disappointing. Bruno with a shot there, just deflected for another corner. Ren and Stimpy would be a better performance in midfield, says IQ. Yeah, don't forget to do your player ratings. Links in the video description. We'll do that on the match reaction. No. What's going on here? I don't know who I would give man of the match, actually. I do agree Sancho's had a good game. I'd be reluctant to give it to Ronaldo because I think he's been so quiet. I mean, he's done what Ronaldo does, I agree, but I think I'd be reluctant to give it him because you'd expect him to score that. And overall, he's been very isolated. A massive win for United. I'll agree with that. And at least we know we won't be playing Europa League football. That's a crap ball by Rashford. That's lazy. He's got so much time to put that perfectly into Wan-Bissaka. And Wan-Bissaka ends up having to stretch to play the cross. It's that attention to detail that teams like Man City and Liverpool have, and United players just always it's a meter too short or it's a meter too long, and then that means that it's just not it's not neat, it's not tidy, it's always on the edge. United's football, I find. But yes, the main thing is to get the result tonight. It was a potentially very dangerous place to come here, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, Villarreal are very toothless. Ronaldo makes me feel like I did on my wedding night, says Ivan. And my man of the match is De Gea. Oh, of course, yeah. Of course De Gea's man of the match, Poya. Would keep Carrick and Co. All new managerial regimes, says Rash RW. Would keep Carrick and Co. All new managerial regimes retaining some of the old staff. Let's not forget the good these coaches got a second above Klopp. Rash, I'm not even going to respond. United's faulty fax machine was probably the best thing to the club. Here's Sancho. Oh, lovely goal. He deserved that. Top corner for Sancho. He'd be over the moon with that. Runs to the corner. Lovely finish. An assist for Bruno. And look how excited they are on the bench again. You've got to go, lads. This is not the start. This is not going to be getting a new job, I'm afraid. But it's a lovely goal by Sancho. That's going to do him the world of good. World of good. And David De Gea should be man of the match. Well, you know what? Sancho might have an opportunity now. It's actually Ronaldo into Fred. McTominay feeds it into Ronaldo. Ronaldo, it's a lovely team goal, actually, into Rashford. Into Bruno. It's a cracking, say what, it's a cracking team goal. Cracking team goal, that. I've got to say. No Europa League. That's what it's all about. It's a weird game, though, isn't it? Because the players will probably come off the pitch and the coaches will probably come off the pitch and some of the fans will come off the pitch and think, oh, we're back. That's a bounce. It's a funny game. I don't think that's a bounce at all. I really don't. I think we scored the goal at the end because Villarreal had to go for it and the first goal was a mistake. I think it's a massive paper in the cracks, but I'll take that paper over the cracks because we need to win. But if those coaches, the way they acted, it's like they think they've bloody pulled off a masterclass. They're very lucky that David De Gea is world class and Villarreal made that mistake at 0-0. But the second goal is great. But, you know, Villarreal have stretched. Villarreal have gone for it there. And it's not, if you've not watched the game, it's not a good Man United performance. For most of the game, it's been very, very poor. But it's a satisfying result because we've got to be in the Champions League. And what I would say is get rid of these crap coaches and get a good manager in ASAP. Because if this is going to be interim, we're in for a horrible, horrible few months. They cannot keep this coaching setup because this is paper in the cracks. It is. And you don't know football if you don't think it is. It's been a shocking game for about 80 minutes. And we'll see how good United are against Chelsea because I think they're going to tear us apart. Yeah, player ratings, links in the video description. I mean, it could be 3-0 here. Good tackle. Could have been 3-0. But what will happen is people who, football peasants, I call them, people who don't actually understand football, they'll be like, oh, we've dominated him in the last 20, but they've had to go for it because they're 1-0 down. So they've opened up. That's why we're getting chance after chance. It's like for the first 70 minutes when it was 0-0, we had no chances because they were dominating the game. As soon as we get a goal, they've got to go for it, and therefore it plays right into our hands to hit them on the break. So that's why in the last 10 minutes we've had chance after chance, and it's looked good, and it could have been 3 or 4-0. Mata's coming on. Ricky's running around the garden with his top off. I'm telling you, it's the best night of my season. Mata's on. Bruno didn't start. Sancho scored. Time to give Carrick the job now, says Mr. Dan. Good shot that was by Bruno. And that's it. Full time. Manchester United 2, Villarreal 0. Manchester United do not go into the Europa League. They make it through. Carrick's got the highest win percentage of any manager now, says Leo Rourke. What do you think is going to happen on Sunday, says Doctor. Look, Sunday, it's something else, isn't it? We'll get hammered by Chelsea. I mean, we might not lose 4 or 5-0, but they'll absolutely dominate us. Villarreal are toothless. Villarreal don't have any players that are going to hurt us. Chelsea are going to be miles better than us. Absolutely miles better than us. But look, Burnley got a result there, so we could get a result there. But on that performance tonight, I think Chelsea will wipe the floor with us. But the main thing is that we win. You know, there's Scooby-Doo running around. He probably thinks he's had a good game. But Manchester United got the result. David De Gea, for me, magnificent. Ronaldo, magnificent with that goal. And Sancho got what he deserved. But I think Mata got on the pitch. Didn't get on the pitch. Poor old Mata. No, he got about 10 seconds, I think. Links in the video description for player ratings. We're going to go straight into the match reaction. It'll push you over there, and I'll see you over there in about a minute. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the match reaction. Thanks to Manscaped. Links in the video description. 25% off. I'll see you in a bit.